I don't know why I'm stuck every time, missing one breathing, but leaving all the best.
Try to forget, hiding her face. Laughing is no one thing I'll taste again. Even when you say you're lonely, even when they say goodbye, you must never really wonder if they once realized. Traveling and living with no worries, traveling to anyone. To know you like a reason inspire me. This is one more advice. Fighting not to climb the mountain, praying me to get some rest. Don't you prefer to get older without any regret? Now this is the life that we wanted. Time is passing when you go there.
You don't need to stop if it doesn't work. It
Simple things are always perfect. I don't know why I'm stuck every time, missing one breathing, but leaving all the best. Even when you say you're lonely, even when they say goodbye, you must never really wonder if they once realized. Traveling and living with no worries, traveling to anyone. Know you like a reason inspire me. This is one more advice.
I used to think it tomorrow. I never felt it was insane. My doubts are burning my fears. No glasses with a broken glass.
Thank you. Hi everyone, we are C. Robin, and we're gonna play some of our own songs. Step this one. And thanks for being here, and we hope you'll enjoy. I've seen the world, done it all, had my cake. Now diamonds really in unveiled. Now the summer nights made you lie when you and I were forever. Wow, the crazy days, the city lights, the way you play with me like a child. Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? Will you still love me when I got nothing but my aching soul? I know you well, I know you well, I know that you will. Yeah, will you still love me when I'm no longer beautiful. I've seen the world lit it up as my stage now, channeling the new scene, the new age now. Summer days, rock and roll, the way you play for me, I just saw, and all the ways I got to know your pretty face, an electric show. Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? Will you still love me when I got nothing but my aching soul? I know you will, I know you will, I know that you will. Will you still love me when I'm no longer beautiful? Dear Lord, when I got to heaven, please let me bring my man. When he comes, tell me that you love me. Father, tell me if you can. All that grace, all that body, all that face makes me wanna party. He's my shine, he makes me shine like diamonds. Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? Will you still love me when I got nothing but my aching soul? I know you will, I know you will, I know that you will, yeah. Will you still love me when I'm no longer beautiful? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Once upon a time, a girl who didn't catch a man, 'cause her pocket was so busy and her memory was a lie. Once upon a time, a girl who'd never feel satisfied, 'cause for those flowers that she gave you were so done by the time. But now, the story is saying, the voice is helping to forgive your past. But now, the story is saying, the voice is helping to forgive your past. And not all men's minds are wrong, they can't even fix the world. Takes an empty soul, make a crown. And not all men's minds are wrong, they can't even fix the world. Takes an empty soul to make a crow. Takes an empty soul to make a crow. You wake up in the morning, you think tomorrow you'll take on the world. But when the night is leaving, you ask for forgiveness, you find there's nothing left to love. You look for an answer, you ask a question, you look in the mirror and the only things you can see is your insecurity. Your pure eyes bleeding, a shine, and no more false tales. For now, the story is saying, the voice is helping to forgive your past. For now, the story is saying, the voice is helping to forgive your past. And not all men's minds are wrong, they can't even fix the world. Takes an empty soul, make a crown. And not all men's minds are wrong, can't fix the world. Takes an
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Hi. Hi. They were she Robin, so please give her, them an applause. Good morning. I have something to tell you, okay? I'm gonna be honest. There's problems, technical problems. So I'm gonna be here telling you things until we solve them. So we're gonna make this easy, okay? So we're gonna participate, we're gonna make it easier, because if not, we're gonna stare at each other until everything works. And that's a little bit awkward, and I don't want that. So, first of all, I'm gonna ask a question, and it's, how many of you were here yesterday? So if you were here yesterday, ¡Uy! Sin que lo pida, without me asking. Maravilloso. Which ones of you were not here yesterday? Okay. So the ones who were here yesterday, welcome back. Welcome back to another amazing day. The ones who were not here yesterday, welcome today to another amazing day. You were not yesterday? What a shame, because it was amazing. But doesn't matter. Today is gonna be awesome. More awesome. I don't know if more, but at least the same. So, I'm gonna kind of interact with you, because I don't want to be here like speaking during, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, a whole day. No, we don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna go down there, and I'm gonna ask you, the brave ones that want to do this, I'm not gonna force anybody to do this, or maybe yes, I don't know, to tell me why did you come here, and what do you expect of a day like today, or which one is the speaker you most want to see. I don't know. Tell me things. Participate. So, who is willing to participate and tell me things? Oh, gracias, amiga. Thank you. You can go motivating yourself, because she was the first one. She's nice. You're not. So please, be nice to people. Empatía. Eso dicen. Joder. Uy. I don't have a microphone. Oh. Yeah. Cruising is always the answer. Saying bad words, you can go everywhere. Everybody loves swear words. Hi, amiga.
Hi.
Hola. Hi. Tell me, why are you here? What do you expect of today?
Well, I'm here to make...
Oh, first, what's your name?
My name is Delia.
Oh, here.
My name is Delia.
Oh, encantada.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Tell me, why are you here? What do you expect of today? Do you expect learning? Making friends?
Well, what I expect, not of today, but of all the festival, it's to make new contacts and to make friends, of course. And what it's the purpose of the festival, I think it's to connect and to have lots of fun.
That's amazing. Please, an applause, because she participated and you didn't. Thank you very much. You were amazing. So, is any friend out there, anybody that, oh, gracias. You still are not nice. You're not participating. This side, I don't like it. Where's the hand? Hi, you're my new friend. Hello. What's your name?
Satur.
Oh, me encanta tu nombre. Hello. What do you expect of today?
I expect to just have great time, as my Stelia said, and just to learn from these entrepreneurs and people
Amazing.
that are really lovely.
That's amazing. Please give him an applause. At least that. Thank you. They're not participating, but at least you really clap very well. Like, you give amazing applause, but you're not participating. So, is any friend, oh, you're saying me anything more?
Yeah, I think that at 12:30, Antonio from Aguara is going to speak, and I'm really willing to see him because I think his project is really a pretty awesome project.
So you come focused on some concrete speaker that you like?
Yeah, today for Antonio.
That's amazing. You're going to come tomorrow too?
Yeah.
That's amazing. An applause for that, please. Thank you. Thank you very much, Satur. Okay, it's just one more and I stop doing that. Oh, qué rápido, so quickly. You want to participate. I saw that. Okay, thank you very much. You can come here if you want to. What's your name?
My name is Benji.
Oh, and where do you come from?
Where do I come from? Like Spain?
Oh, okay. I don't know. Tell me. I come from Murcia. I don't know.
Well, no, I do live in Madrid, so I'm studying here and those stuffs. And you hold it?
You can hold it if you want to.
So, well, I'm here to do an amazing networking as I did yesterday, because yesterday just boosted my career like so damn hard. I did so amazing contacts. But today I'm especially here to watch one of the most persons for me, Fran Pascual. It's amazing, that guy. He's gonna talk about self-development, so.
Fran is our next speaker, so you have a good promo there, Fran. They sold us. You're good now.
No. This promo is because one of these days I'm gonna do a talk with him. So.
Oh, that's amazing. You
Just
know
have
your
a prize.
Connection. We have a new friendship. That's amazing.
All right.
So thank you very much. I'm glad you're here. Are you coming tomorrow?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, great. So give him a really big applause. Thank you very much. Thank you, even though you didn't. Dos, porque necesito dos. Thank you very much, even though you didn't participate, just because of the clapping, because it was amazing. So thank you very much. And I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna present. I don't like stairs. Too much cardio for me. So. It's like these 3 days, that's all the exercise I'm doing in this month. Like, no more. It's no more. I'm for the pizza of afterwards. So, as you know, he is Fran Pascual. He sold it very good. I don't need to sell him again, but I'm gonna do that because that's why I'm here for. Not to do this that I did now, but it was fun. So, he is an entrepreneur, but he's like concretely in Instagram. Probably the biggest entrepreneur in Instagram. And we're gonna give him a really big applause to Fran Pascual.
Hello, how are you? Huh? Okay. Does anyone know me before I begin to speak? I want to see hands. Well, okay. Yeah, okay, I like that. Well, I'm going to begin the speech introducing myself, so it's going to be a little bit boring. It's my story, I know. But I need to introduce myself because I think you have to understand a little bit of my context so you understand what I want to say to you. I was a normal kid when I was 15, 14 years old. I was a little bit introverted. I was not good with people. I was not good with a lot of things. And I had two main hobbies, athletics and video games. Wait, let me check this. I can do this. What happened? Well, I don't know. I'm going to do it anyway. I had two main hobbies, video games and athletics. No, it doesn't work. One day, when I was 16 years old, after a competition, now, this is me, when I was young. Wait a minute. Yeah, when I was 16 years old, after a competition, professional competition, semi-professional competition, I felt weird. I don't know, something happened in my body. I was speaking with my parents and they didn't know what to say to me. 4 hours later, I was in the hospital. Something happened with my kidney, something big happened with my kidney, and I had to stay 2 weeks in the hospital. I'm a very active person, as you can see, so 2 weeks in my bed in the hospital, it's a long time, a lot of time to think. And one day, well, no, let me explain this. Have you ever felt on your skin that you can die? Have you ever thought of death? Yeah? So when you can feel in your skin that you can die, you begin to move. You begin to take action. You begin to do things. When you are young, you think you are going to, I don't know what does that. When you are young, you think you're going to be immortal. You think you're going to live forever. And that's not true. When I was in the hospital, I was watching TV, and on TV was the film Limitless. I don't know if you know the film. It's about a guy. He's a writer, and he's a disaster. He doesn't sell books, and he's a writer. He's not good with people. He's not good with. He doesn't have money. And he's not happy. Most important thing. When I was watching that in my bed in the hospital, I was like, "What? This is like me." Oh, in the film, one day, one friend came to him and offered him a pill. That pill could bring his brain to the next level. Okay, he took that pill, he go to the next level. After he took that pill, he was able to learn one language in a day. He was able to speak with people. He was able to do whatever he wanted, and he was happy. And I was watching that at 16 years old, and I was like, I want to be that guy. Yeah, why not? I wanted to be that guy, and after that, I began to do things. Let me tell you a little bit about my achievements. A little bit. It's a little bit boring. I don't want to talk about myself, but I have to. I have recently written a book, How to be a Superhero in Real Life, Cómo ser un superhéroe en la vida real. I have an active community of 27,000 people. Active community. Thanks to you, a lot of them are here today. Thanks to you, I'm here talking. So thank you. I have also worked with radio, with Lacer, with COPE. I've also given speeches all over Spain, in a lot of universities, a lot of places. And after all that, I've also been interviewing entrepreneurs all over Spain, top entrepreneurs. And I've found 3 practical steps. Yeah, now yes. 3 practical steps that you can apply to your life right now. I'm a practical boy, I'm a practical guy, so I don't like to talk about cliché things like you have to follow your passion, you have to do. I understand that, I agree with that, but I want to go deep in the concepts. So, my first practical step, build your life around your strengths. What's that? let me explain you this. I'm bad at doing everything. Again, I'm bad at doing everything. Mathematics, 0. Art, 0. I'm bad at doing everything. I can do bad, oh gosh, I can communicate, I can talk, I can inspire people. That's my thing, one thing. You can have other skills, but one thing. And I've built my life around that. It's good so far. And the people that I've interviewed, top entrepreneurs, they focus 99% of top entrepreneurs, they focus on one skill, they go all in on one thing to evolve, to go to the next level. So maybe in a school, they taught us to be good in a lot of things. They learn us a lot of things that they don't taught us to be good in one thing, to be so good in one thing. And that's so important. Now, the second practical step. I want you to apply these things after you hear me. Yeah, right now, right here in the event. My second practical step is act now. So cliche, right? Like, do it, act now without fear. I don't like that. Like motivation, a motivational guy. I don't like that. But it's so important. Act now. What do I mean by act now? When you are young, when you are doing things, when you are beginning to do things, you don't have data. You don't have data. You don't have experience. So you have to act now. You have to go all in. And in the process, you are going to learn. When you are working with a budget of 10 millions, and you can lose that money, you can act now. You have to sit down and take the data and analyze. When you are young and when you are beginning projects, jump. Without data, jump, improve. When I talk about act now, I have also to talk about fear. I love fear. I'm obsessed with fear. What do you think about fear? People tend to think that some people don't have fear. What do you think? Is it true? Is it true? I'm seeing all of you saying no. Some people know how to manage fear. That's it. Every human on the earth have fear. Psychology, human psychology, brain. You need to have fear. You need to feel fear. But you have to manage fear. I'm going to talk about my experience right now. Do I have fear? Am I afraid? Of course. A little bit? Yes, of course. Before coming here, yes. But I talk with my fear. I have an active relationship with my fear. Let me explain this. I talk with my fear as if fear was a person. I'm a little bit crazy. Before coming here, I was speaking with him. I told him, hey, fear, I'm going to go there and I'm going to talk to that audience, to that big audience. And my fear told me, I'm going to go with you. I answered him, okay, it's okay, no problem for me, but I'm in control. You can come with me, I understand you, I allow you to be with me, but you're not controlling my mind. I'm going to be in control. But, like the main problem is that you tend to say, I don't want to have fear. When I go to some place and I have to speak, and I have to give a speech, I have to give a presentation, I'm afraid. That's normal, man. You have to manage that. Which was the last thing that you have done that you were afraid of? I let you a little bit time to think because I'm going to go there and I'm going to ask you. I let you like 30 seconds. I'm going to go there right now. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to see some hands up. Hands up. Yeah, I love you. Something that you have done that you're afraid of. Come on. Give it to me. Tell me.
Last week I broke up with my girlfriend.
Okay.
And
No, okay. Yeah.
I was very afraid of doing that, but I hasn't been happy like for half a month, maybe a year.
And you took the decision.
Yeah, it was hard, but now I'm here. I'm knowing people. I'm very happy of it.
Okay.
I'm fighting with some fear to do things, to
But you did
know
it.
people, to introduce myself to you. Nice to meet you.
It was necessary. Give me a hug, bro. Give me a hug, bro.
Yeah.
Give me a hug, bro. Another one. Love you. I want a big one. Give it to me.
Hi, I'm Marcos. The last thing that I've done that afraids me is just raising my hand.
Raise your hand right now. Give me a
Right
hug,
now.
bro. Give me a hug, bro. Okay, I love you. One last person. Okay.
Hello, my name is Ismail. Last thing I was afraid of is I killed someone.
Okay.
I'm kidding. No, I was actually in Paris and I had an opportunity to meet a very, very important person.
Yeah.
And at the door,
Yeah.
I was really afraid.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it got over me and I froze.
Oh my
and I
gosh.
could not, you know,
Okay.
I missed it. I missed the appointment. I
Okay.
told them my plane didn't come, whatever.
Okay. But you were there and you were talking.
I went there. I was at the door,
Uh-huh.
but I could not walk in.
Okay. Next time you're gonna knock the door.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a hug. Thank you, bro. Love you. I appreciate that. So, now, let's go to a third step. Are you ready? Third step. Are you ready? Yeah, I got you now. Third step. Surround yourself with people in the same brain, in the same brain frequency, okay? In your same level of energy. Cliché thing, you are the 5 person that are with you, whatever. So important. You have to surround yourself with people that want you to succeed. If you can feel in someone that he or she doesn't want you to succeed, goodbye. You can be stupid, you can be radical, goodbye. Goodbye. It can be an old friend, yes. It can be your girlfriend, boyfriend, yes. It can be your father, mother, yes. Goodbye. You have to surround yourself. This is so tough. This is so tough. You have to surround yourself with people that allow you to succeed. Being in an environment of people that want to drag you down, so much energy, so much energy, so much energy. Talking about my past, I was a gamer, not a pro gamer like the other day, the person that spoke here. I play video games, League of Legends, Call of Duty, all of that, okay? I was a little bit freaky. And I spent too much time playing video games. I had gamer friends. What do some gamers do? I like video games, but some gamers or the gamer environment is like surrounded by not good food, bad food, fast food, with people that spend too much time in house, playing the computer, playing and I had to say to my gamer friends, goodbye. And I felt alone. During 1 year, I felt alone. When you are 16 years old and you say goodbye to your friends, to your environment, you feel alone. And you can feel pain in your body. Pain. Literally pain. When you feel pain, you begin to change. Pain is a good thing. In some, pain is a good thing. You have to feel pain to find new people, to find new person. And now, yeah, this is correct. to finish the presentation, I'm a normal guy. I'm a normal person. Normal, so normal. I don't have special skills. I'm not a superhero. I have no special things. You can watch me here and say, oh, that guy, he spent like 7 years talking and giving speeches, and he's a natural talent, his genetics and context, and his parents. Nope. I was an introvert. 1 year ago, I was not able of doing this right now. So it's just a decision. Another cliche thing, but it's true. In your head. When you want to change and you don't change, you are like waiting for someone to come to your ear and say, now you can change. That's not how life works. You have to decide in your head to change. Right now, I allow me to change. I want to hear that. I allow me to change. I want to hear that. I allow me to change. One person. Okay? Okay, another person. Allow me to change. You are afraid of doing that? Okay, that's it. But then you have to like to feel that in your body, in your brain. You have to allow you to change. Why not? Don't hear to your environment. In some occasions, allow you to change. Now after the presentation, in the app, in the mobile app, you can ask me questions, and I'm gonna answer 3. They are gonna appear there, I think. Yeah? Okay. So thank you. Okay, I can see it now. Okay, Juan Arenas. Who is Juan Arenas? I want to see you. Juan Arenas? He's at home? Okay. What advice would you give to to someone who doesn't like what she or he is studying? So important question. I'm going to be radical. I'm going to be tough. When your parents want you to study something and you don't want to do that something, you have 2 options. I can see fathers and mothers here, and they are going to hate me, but I don't care. It's life. You have 2 options. Hear to your parents, receive the money, and do what they told you to do. And the other option, say, okay, goodbye. I'm going to work and I'm going to do what I want to do. I want to sing, I want to paint, I want to do whatever I want. I'm going to pay to my things, my money. There's no middle point. You have to choose between those 2. Or you go all in, or you sit down, receive money, and do what they... But then, if you choose the second option, stay at your house and receive money, then you can't blame them. It's your decision. Your brain, your decision, you choose. Now, second one. Okay, but can I answer all of them? All of them, or, okay. Clara Marquez, is Clara Marquez there? At home too? Or she is maybe, okay, she doesn't want, so people don't want to be, okay, I understand now. Clara Marquez, I understand now. Hi, how would you define happiness? Thank you. Nice question. For me, I'm studying in 1 year, I'm going to be psychologist officially. And psychologists tend to say that obsession is a bad thing. You don't have to be obsessed. You don't have to, you work to match. You are not happy, you are going after money. You are going after, happiness is different from one person to another. For example, I'm happy working. I love this. I love speaking, I love doing networking. I can be, I don't know, 1 day without sleeping because I have to speak with someone, do some project, give some love, inspire people. I can do that, so it depends on you. Maybe for you, happiness is going with your friends, taking a beer. Okay, I give it to you. No, not my happiness. Okay, now, Colin Smith. What are, for you, the keys to be successful? Well, maybe like the 3 steps, more or less. But you have to be aware what's your best skill, your strengths. You have to know your strengths. It's the same. You have to know your strength, go all in on that strength. What is a strength? It is something that by genetics and context you do better than the average person. You get me? For example, some people have a natural context, 50-50, skill to play football. I can train 24/7, I'm not good at that. I don't know why. My body, my genetics, my context. So, to be successful, you have to be aware. You have to know how to say, I'm bad at that. I delegate that. I'm good at that. I'm going to do that. For me. But I have to learn a lot. I'm 21 years old, I have to learn a lot. Okay. Okay. Why do you think there are so many coaches nowadays? Yeah, talking about coach, hating on coaches. I like that. Isn't the people able to improve by themselves? Good question. Some people need a little bit of guiding. Little bit. Coach is like, I don't know, difficult word. I like to call them mentors. Easy. You learn from a mentor that is better than you. That's it. There's people in the world that is better than you. Yes, go with that people, learn, listen, copy the things that they do, and then, so it's not like you need a person that have to guide you, but by myself I can do things. Nope. Don't be that egoistical. Nope. You can't. You need people, you need mentors. You can't. By yourself? Nope. So I have no more questions, right? I have to finish? I don't know. I don't know if I have to finish or, hello? I have to finish or I have to answer more questions? Again, okay, so shut up, okay. So thank you for being here. And if you want to talk with me, you can go to my personal Instagram, is there? Yeah, there. You can go there, you can write me, you can say me, you don't know what you are talking about, you are so bad coach, whatever. So thank you for being here. I appreciate that.
Hi. Okay. Thank you very much, Fran. I hope you all enjoyed it. I can see you did, because you were very participative. Not like with me. Okay. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. Whatever. Oh, a couch. I'll sit down, because I'm mad. Whatever. For the 3rd year consecutively, we have here the guys of Accenture. So, a global partner of Unleash, which is this amazing thing we are all in, and a creator of new technologies and innovation that never ceases to amaze us. So we're gonna give a really warm welcome to Gemma and Binomio. So please give them a really big round of applause.
Well, hello. How is it going today? The second day at Unleash? Okay, I'm Blanca Gemma, also known as Blanchini. I'm a content design analyst in Accenture Interactive, that is part of Accenture Digital. But yeah, you know, I'm also a creator, a concert photographer, I'm a music editor in several digital magazines. So at this point, many of you will think, and how someone with such an active life has ended like that, no, in a consultancy. Okay, because Accenture, as it says, puts the accent on you. My life is full of coincidences, and getting here is one of them. It was an encounter like the love crust at first sight. You know, the first date it didn't go like bad, but it was out of the ordinary. It was quite a strange. And you know why? Because, well, it's funny, but thanks to a Pangea ex-coworker, Jeppe Rasmussen, I discovered how Accenture has cool initiatives, such as the hackathon, in which I participated with him. And you know what? We won the second national prize. That's how I discovered them, and that's how they discovered me. And since then, we haven't stopped doing things together. Being proactive has never been a barrier for me, nor for Accenture. As a content creator, I always have creative concerns, something that I've been able to carry out inside and outside the company. And in fact, this is why I've been growing and developing my professional and personal career, always giving the best of myself and respecting my personal life. If I told you that I participated in a video clip with José Mercé the last year, yeah, the flamenco singer, or that I sang in Las Ventas celebrating the Christmas, thanks to Accenture, you think, okay, this is mad. This is not the typical concerns that the traditional consultancy can solve. But I think that, at least to me, it has been clear. This is not normal. I've just been here only for a year, and I've been able to see how boosting talent from within had made me growing outside. I defended my own projects, my own ideas in front of the clients. I participated in workshops and collaborated hand in hand with them, with the clients, and also with my team, a great team to grow great projects together. And if you ask me about my personal life, okay, I'm gonna tell you too. I have attended two important festivals, interviewed great bands like Despistados, or taking photos to the International Zoe that has won, I think, like 2 Latin Grammys. Okay, as you see, it's a typical profile of consultant, like so many others. Or no, Binomio? Thanks.
assassin. Suicide bombing like I'm straight out of Aspen. Lights, camera, action, I'm the main attraction. Call me heartbreaking like I'm Zora Miss Jackson. I am for real, this real life. I be moving fast, pushing weight like Miami Vice. I ain't got no time to waste, it's finally my time. How can take some money in this city of bright light? What you finna do? 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 What you finna do?
At last. Okay. Thank you everybody. Thank you Blanca, thank you Annelise. First of all, sorry for my English. I try to do my best and I need to read the presentation in my computer. Okay, as you can see, my name is Binomio. I'm the creative director of Accenture Interactive here in Madrid. I work for more than 20 years in many advertisement agencies and design studios and digital studios, combining with my career as an artist, as a tattoo artist, you know. And I know, I don't look like a normal consultant. It's obvious. So how did a guy like me end up working for a company like Accenture, is the question. You know, the first thing I learned when I joined this company, it doesn't matter where you come from, what you like, what really matters. That thing that makes you really special, unique, your special talent. In Accenture, we are looking for a talent, whatever it is. Let me show you a little sample of my work. This is Clink. Oh, yeah, this is Clink. Hi. Clink? Okay. This is Clink. It's the first advertisement campaign in my company. What the fuck? Okay, sorry. In this first year in the company, I've had the chance to create and participate in a number of creative projects. One of the most important has been the Clean Case by Zurich Insurance, the first internal campaign by Accenture Interactive to commit itself to performance and creativity. Let's see the video.
Mírate. Un tío listo, con futuro y, por qué no decirlo, atractivo, que tiene claro lo que quiere. Y cuando se trata de elegir un seguro para tu móvil, tu nueva tablet, tu portátil o cualquiera de tus dispositivos que tienen un gran valor sentimental, te la intentan volver a colar. Y es que las cosas que más quieres, tus amadas pertenencias, funcionan hasta que un día deciden dejar de funcionar. Pero ahora si contratas Clink lo tienes fácil, porque tienes el primer seguro que puedes encender y apagar cuando tú quieras. Eliges tu dispositivo, calculas el precio de tu seguro y lo contratas en un solo Clink. Así de fácil. ¿Que con tu Fixi te crees dueño y señor de la ciudad? ¿Que alguien decide a la fuerza que tu portátil ahora va a ser suyo? ¿Que a tu tablet le da un bajón de azúcar? Todo va a ir bien, todo va a ir Clink, porque somos un seguro que te entiende, entendemos que esto puede pasar. Protege todo aquello que te importa cuando lo necesites y cuando no, pues no.
Not bad. Another case is the tattoo stickers. I designed the tattoo stickers for the interactive party of my company. As you can see, it looks amazing. It's all my style. They were a success in the party, believe me. And last but not least, let me show you As you may already know, I designed the sticker you will find in your welcome packs. Hope you like it, stick it, and have fun. That's all. Follow me. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Such a pleasure.
Nice. I really enjoy that style because it's like my vibe. I'm into old school tattoo styling. So I love that. And I hope you did as well. But I saw you really into that. So I think you're happy. I think you're enjoying. I think so far this morning is going everything really well. But everything is going to go better if it can. Or at least it's going to stay really good. We're going to be like kind of modest just in case. We're gonna leave it there. So, you know, diversity is a very important thing for us, and it's the motor that runs like everything and why we're here today. So now I would like to present to you our first panel of the day. For the ones that were here yesterday, you already know Kenza, and the ones you weren't, you're gonna know her now. She's gonna be the one that moderates the panels we have today, starting with this one. And we're gonna speak about diversity, why diversity is a good bet or for our generation, integration, the way we'll be discussing real-world experiences on the European level. So, as I said, welcome Kenza and this amazing panel you're gonna experience, so a big, big applause for them.
Everyone, good morning. Very happy to be here with you. Second day of Unleash. Some things great are awaiting for us, so I hope you're very excited for today. So we're going to be talking about the power of communities, the power of being part of something bigger, of knowing people, of connecting with people, of networking, and all the kinds of opportunities that can come when you actually meet people, which is very important. So I wanted to tell a small story, a very simple story, an anecdote about when Pangea started. It was just a Facebook group. 4 years ago, we were just a bunch of motivated, inspired people which were looking for more inspirations. And I remember my friend introduced me to the Facebook group, and I posted a quote from my grandmother on the power of youth. And yeah, I thought that was super interesting. And so that's how it started. Just Pablo saw the quote and he was like, oh, it's very inspiring. Do you want to work with us and do something? And I was like, yes. So that's how it starts. Small things, and then it goes bigger and bigger. So I want to introduce the 3 speakers that are going to be with us today. First of all, Sofia Atienza. She is an economist and works on psychology and innovation. Please welcome. Big applause for her. Paloma Cantero, the founder of Youth Proactive. And lastly, Juan Rayon González, Vice National Representative of ESN Spain. Welcome to the 3 of you. Thank you for being here. I know it's your first day at Unleash, so you're just getting to know the experience. I hope you're going to like it a lot, and I hope you're going to stay with us. So yesterday, since you were not here, we talked, our first panel was about learning a new way of learning, so about how technology was going to transform education. And one thing that I started with was actually that our generation learns very fast, and we like things to be straightforward, bullet points, videos, images, no long text. So that's why I'm going to ask you to please introduce yourself in just 1 sentence. Can be 2, okay? I'm going to be nice with you. But just say, who are you, where do you come from, and what your organization does. So if you want to start, Sofia, for example.
Yeah, sure. My name is Sofia. I come from Spain. I did economics, and I've been working on technology, mainly blockchain, focused on social impact till just recently, when I decided to change my focus from technology to how technology affects people, and I went back to school to study psychology, and now I'm joining an amazing team that will develop a project on cultural transformation. So
great, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Great pitch. Paloma.
Hi there, I hope you're having a great time. My name is Paloma, I am Spanish, but I am based in Brussels, where I work at Youth Proactive, there is an international organization working on education, entrepreneurship, personal and professional development. I am married to the love of my life. I have 3 beautiful baby boys under 3 years old. And when I am not traveling with them around the world, because this is a passion that we have, I also work professionally as a consultant in Brussels, where we represent local and national organizations and businesses at the European institutions. We have a social business that is providing with coaching and mentoring for couples, and I am a contributor at Force, writing on proactivity and entrepreneurship in Europe.
Great, thank you. Juan.
Those are a lot of things, my friend.
I know.
Well, so I'm Juan from Asturias, north of Spain, and I'm here representing the Erasmus Student Network. That's the biggest international student organization in Europe. We're present in more than 40 countries and in more than 500 local sections. And basically what we do is try to lead the Erasmus generation and enrich society through international students.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sounds very interesting. So, Sophia, I want to start with you. The first question is for you. Well, you work on psychology, innovation, you're also an economist. Everything sounds very, very interesting.
It's more connected than it seems at first.
Yes, I'm sure about that. So, tell me about your experience at The Common Good. So what you do is actually using blockchain to help foment transparency, accountability, and really transparency for the NGOs. So I want to know how this works, because we all relate blockchain to finance, fintech, shared democracies, and shared banking. So how does it work for NGOs to implement blockchain?
Well, I'm sure most people here are already familiar with what blockchain is, but just in case, and I'm just going to simplify it a lot, so if someone knows a lot about blockchain, I'm sorry. Let's say blockchain is a shared registry of interactions between agents or entities that is distributed, so everyone has an identical copy and is cryptographically secure. So basically what this means is what happens has happened and it can't be undone or removed. Most people think that blockchain in the social sector goes towards, I know what wallet or what pocket my money went into. And what they don't realize is that, one, this is technically not yet feasible, and two, it doesn't solve the trust problem that we have on NGOs. So the project that I was working on, what we saw is that we can take blockchain and make projects actually transparent and involve all the counterparts and all the stakeholders into one, let's say, screen that can show step-by-step the value-added process. What does this mean? Well, basically, what blockchain allows us to do is to set out a plan of what, let's say, a social project is going to be, a school being built in Kenya. And what donors see when they donate is what the project actually partakes in terms of, I don't know, the budget, who's involved, the timings, everything. And at the same time, they can see how all the counterparties do or play their role. The money is being sent. The bills are attached. We, in fact, have the exams from the kids being uploaded. And each person that's in charge of this has their stake on the platform. Because right now, what happens is that as donors, the only person that reports to us are NGOs.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates that sort of insecurity of, I don't know what's behind. I don't know what they're telling me is true. In this scenario, we can actually see that it is, in fact, whoever's building it in Kenya, because everyone has smartphones nowadays, that due to the protocol, and this is kind of technical, is actually saying that what happened truly happened. And it's also a new way of interacting with millennials. We're all here. This is a festival of young talent. We don't want people to tell us what happened. We want to be proactive. We want to get engaged. We don't donate. So we're statistically the more caring generation, but we're the ones that donate the least because we don't believe in just giving money to something we can't see, right? We want to get involved. We volunteer, but we can't volunteer for most projects. So this allows you to actually, it opens up to what's happening behind an NGO, so that you can see what's happening. And there's a second part about it, and it has to do with the communities and what we're speaking here, is it allows donors, or basically anyone, even if you don't want to donate, to proactively give input, give feedback. See, maybe there's a process by an NGO that you don't think is being efficient, and you think you can change it. All those things, it's part of an educational process for the new generation of social impact.
Great. So you're working really on the next generation of donors, our generation, and how we're going to be impacting the world. Maybe, as you said, not economically because we're not donors, as you explained, but we're more involved into action, into really making things happen. So yes, it's very interesting. Thank you, Sofia. Paloma, you work in Youth Proactive. I'm sure your organization, I've been seeing the website, you offer a lot of opportunities for people to actually explore their entrepreneurial mindset, to really realize their potential and make some things interesting and really participate in impactful programs. And I'm sure they live amazing experiences. But however, I am sure that some people are proactive by nature. They grow and they're looking for opportunities. But some others, they need a little push or a big push sometimes. So how do you cater to these kind of people? How do you help them? How do you make them realize everything that your organization offers?
Well, I always say that Youth Proactive is here firstly and mainly in order to make people understand what they are capable of, what can they accomplish. And once this happens, we can start speaking about empowering them, giving them the tools, giving them the skills, etc. So we like to speak about proactivity as a concept that is based on the concept of responsibility, understood as responsibility, or what means our ability to respond to people, to things that are happening on our daily life. And then personal and professional development is not something that depends exclusively on our skills and on our knowledge. It's something that should start with an inner decision of taking action, of getting engaged or getting encouraged, and of doing things in an excellent way. And in a way, nobody can make you engage or can make you willing to do something, because this is an inner decision, and that's why Youth Proactive is trying to do. We try to help people first to understand their inner talents, second to take decision and take ownership over themselves, and to say, okay, I want to do it, and I want to do it great. And once this first step is done, then we start developing different educational programs in order to give the youth the skills that they need in terms of entrepreneurship, change of mindset, and other digital skills, many different skills that we need for our daily life. And also we take, of course, advantage of the different means that the European Union is giving to us in order to make sure that the programs that we do are as accessible as possible for everybody and for people, and they are also tailored and adjusted for people of different backgrounds. So just as an example, I don't know, some of you may know Youth Proactive already, and you may know that this is an initiative that started like 4 years ago, because of a group of young people that were wanting to do something, to take responsibility and to change some paradigms in society. So we worked very hard in order for this to happen, but to be honest, we didn't start really taking off until we realized that we need to build all these things for a community of people. You know, it's not just about doing something cool, it's like doing something cool with the people. So we start having this concept in mind. We start like working with many different people around Europe, and like nowadays, on the basis of like this first image that we were having of a community, we are a coalition that has more than 30 organizations at the national ground and more than 17 different countries working together for the same goals. And as a very beautiful example of that, like recently, some of the people that has passed through Youth Proactive, once they understand that like this is a cool approach to life, this proactive approach to life, we have started with a consultancy that has nothing to do with that. That's a profit business because we have like this entrepreneurial mindset. But we have agreed, and this is super complicated because it's not that easy to make people agree on something. We have agreed to donate like the 10% of every single annual profit that we make for like Youth Proactive, so we can continue making it like much more accessible to people that cannot always afford to go here or go there or like go through this kind of training. So this is a bit like our experience on it.
Thank you, Paloma. Thank you. And I really agree with what you mentioned at the end, the fact that you have to actually co-create these opportunities with the user. You can't just imagine what the next generations are going to be like as leaders or what kind of experiences they're going to want if you don't ask them and work with them on that. So I think this is a great approach. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, Juan, I want to ask you about something that probably we're all interested in, so the Erasmus experience, which is very important and marks a turning point in all of our curricular experience. Obviously, I mean, we as a generation, the people that are my age, for example, they're different from those 5 years ago. So, and obviously we're very demanding as regards the experience that we're going to live abroad. What is this experience going to bring me? How am I going to grow with this experience? So we're asking a lot of questions. We don't want just to travel and go to another country, but really make it a life-changing experience. So how do you keep on innovating in these experiences, and how do you keep on offering people an exciting experience in Erasmus?
Okay, great question. I would like to ask the public, how many of you know the Erasmus program? You guys know what it is, right? Oh, that's good. We have achieved something, that's great. And how many of you have participated in Erasmus mobility? That's very good. We see a connection, right, between this like innovative approach and Erasmus. Well, Erasmus is amazing. I think we all agree on that. It's probably the biggest success of the European Union by far. I mean, right now there are a lot of things at stake, but most of people agree that Erasmus is amazing. But still, as you said, there is a lot of room for improvement. And we, as ESN, we are continuously working on improving this experience, both at the international level, developing big projects with institutions and with other organizations, for example, like hers, but also in the local level, trying to, day per day, make the experience of as much people as possible better. So, what we can expect for the future? I'm going to focus on 4 parts. Okay. First of all, we are working super hard, along with European institutions, to make a more digital Erasmus experience. If you have been in Erasmus, you know that sometimes bureaucracy can be terrible. You know, too many papers, you need to go back and forth, it's super annoying. I was in Istanbul myself, and I had to do like 40 different papers, okay? It was fun, Turkish people is nice, but maybe if I can do it online, that would be better, okay? Also, more user-friendly, like less papers, and just do a couple of things, and it's done, and you have more time to focus on doing more important things. Second of all, and this is super important, a more social, cultural, and active Erasmus. Because Erasmus is an amazing experience, but sometimes we lack one really important thing, which is interaction with local communities. If you have been in Erasmus, you know what I'm talking about. We go there, we have a great time, but we don't really manage to get into the community. And this is really beneficial for both of us, for both ourselves and community. So we want Erasmus students to take part on volunteering projects. We want Erasmus students to go to schools so they can talk about their cultures and to really make the community aware of all the things that they can provide them. Also more cultural, really connected to this. We want to be a bridge between Erasmus students and local cultures, okay? Because also Erasmus students have a lot to give. to local communities, explaining their culture, and explaining how they live life in their countries. And are more active, because Erasmus is great to learn a lot of stuff, both academical and also life in general. So we want our Erasmus students to be more aware about the current challenge of society. Next, we want Erasmus to be more recognized, okay? More recognized in terms of course, getting full recognition of credits, but also we want people to be aware of all the skills that you get through your Erasmus experience, okay? And also we want Erasmus students to be able to assess what they have learned in terms of informal education. You develop many skills, even like, I don't know, like traveling or living alone, that develops a lot of skills, but sometimes it's hard to access them. Also in terms of reintegration. Okay, my experience is over, so now what? How can I really take the most out of this experience? We're developing several projects on that. Last but not least, a more inclusive and diverse Erasmus program. We talked about diversity before. This is super crucial because even though Erasmus is great, right now we don't manage to get all those people coming from disadvantaged backgrounds really involved in the program. We need more people with disabilities participating in the program. We need more people coming from rural areas, more people coming from low socioeconomical backgrounds taking part. First of all, because Erasmus is an amazing experience and everyone should have the right to participate, but also because Erasmus can act as a tool to foster social mobility, okay? To really develop skills that will help you in the labor market, but in life in general. So these are four of the main topics. There is a lot of stake right now because negotiations for the next Erasmus program are taking place right now. Okay, so we developed in ESN a document called Erasmus Upgrade Manifesto. You can check it online, it's super cool, only 10 pages, okay, easy to read. And there you can see all the proposals that we are forwarding to European institutions so we can arrange a program that will be beneficial for everyone.
Great. I really agree with these 4 pillars. I think that you really thought them through, and I really agree, so congratulations. And I want to ask now a question. I think you didn't do this question. So now with this explanation, how many of you are planning to go on Erasmus, or how many of you are, okay.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Great. You'll tell us about it then. So remember now, there's one last question I'm going to ask the 3 of them, but now you have time to actually send us your questions. So please ask them. You can ask them about your Erasmus experience, for example, the opportunities that Youth Proactive can offer, or if you want to get involved in a blockchain project for NGOs. Please do ask your questions. So, and now I'm going to ask you a very simple question to the 3 of you. So if you had now to recommend an event, an opportunity, a program to our audience, what would that be? Whether from your organization or not, something that you think they should really take part of because you've experienced it or you've heard of it, and that could be a great thing for them. What would it be, Paloma, for example?
Well, so if I will have to, I'm going to say 2 very quick ones.
Okay.
So first of
a lot of opportunities, guys.
It could be the Transatlantic Leadership Program, that actually it's a program that like the former community manager of Pangea, it's currently performing in Washington. So it allows like young professionals to go for a working experience to the US Congress. And you may say that this is just for people like like relations, European relations backgrounds, or like business orientation. Not at all, because I think the important part of this is to break boundaries and to like place yourself in a completely different setting, professional setting, to see how much you can give from yourself. And another one, it's called Do It Europe. It's currently worked on by different universities of technology and Fab Labs all over Europe. And it's based on the concept, it's trying to change the paradigms or how education it is currently implemented at school and university. So how many of you have heard about like maker education or know what this is about? That's such a pity. So maker education is based on the concept that like, we do not learn by studying, we learn by doing. So you do not learn what physics are by going to school and listening to your teacher. You experience physics and then you know how physics works. So we are trying to do this and to create tools for teachers and for kids in order to be implemented in schools. So they will be able not to simply finish their creative process since they are born till they get to school, but to continue with this creative process when they enter school by being able to learn on the basis of experience.
Thank you, Paloma. So we're going to give them the opportunity to just note down the opportunities. So you say Do It Europe and?
Do It Europe and the Transatlantic Leadership Programs.
Transatlantic Leadership Program. Thank you. Sophia?
So I'm not really going to give you a program per se. I think a lot of the times we come to places like this to get inspired, and we want to follow certain paths. We see what's worked, and we want to try to see if it'll work for us. I believe more that right now when we're at this stage, because I've been there and I've wanted to do networking, and I was wondering what it was that I had to say to who and how to be liked. And there's this quote by Woody Allen that says something like, I don't know what the key to success is, but the key to failure is to try to please everyone. So my advice is more, yes, you need to get involved, and getting involved is the only way to broaden your perspective, to encounter new opportunities. I found my current job at a weekend that I spent in Avila on emotional intelligence. So basically my focus was psychology. I went there and I got a job. I wasn't looking for it. So I think my advice is yes, find events and activities. And I know the transatlantic one seems to be an incredible experience, but first, look inside, see what's meaningful to you, see what it is that you want to be doing, and not so much think of what's worked for others or what should I be doing, all those things. I think we need to shift the focus a little bit.
Thank you, Sophia. Juan?
Well, for me, it's quite straightforward. Of course, I'm going to recommend the Erasmus program, okay? The Erasmus program has many opportunities within it, okay? It's not only about studying, you get volunteering, you get internships, you can participate as an institution, maybe hosting trainerships, like many ways. The thing is, like, regardless of which type of Erasmus you choose, it's always going to be an amazing learning experience. You're going to learn so much about culture, about society, about other people, and about yourself. So I would like to encourage you to take that step and get involved in the Erasmus program, because it's really forming a generation that wants to change Europe and therefore the world, okay? So it's super important to get involved and to see how amazing it is. And then, of course, I'm going to recommend to join my organization, okay? Because we're open to everyone, and we're really going to be the boys leading the Erasmus generation. And for that, we need people like you, basically, okay? So the name is Erasmus Student Network. We're present in more than 37 higher education institutions in Spain, and we'll be welcoming you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your passion, Juan. I see you're passionate about Erasmus. Thank you. So, Sophia, I see your explanation on blockchain has had some impact on our audience. So let's see the first question. How can communities use blockchain without needing to know what the complexities of the technology are? So are you a technical person yourself on blockchain?
No. I mean, when I started back in 2016, and what we had was GitHub. So that was a bit hard because if you know any developer, they don't speak our language. They speak a different language. But nowadays, you don't really need to know how to code. You don't need to be an engineer to develop any sort of blockchain initiative, because right now teams are multi-skilled, and to actually develop a blockchain project, blockchain is just a technology that runs beneath anything. It's a registry. It's like saying, do I need to know how the internet works to build an e-commerce? Right now, we're at the beginning, and blockchain as a technology seems to be very present. Let's say 2-3 years from now, everyone will just know or assume that blockchain is running behind an app. And the truth is, blockchain needs sociologists, it needs economists, it needs any sort of thinking mind that wants to solve a problem and understands the basics of the technology. And I think that's all that's necessary.
Great. Thank you, Sophia. You wanted to say something, Paloma?
Would it be possible to ask a question or afterwards?
Of course. Let's learn from everyone.
Is the project already thinking on how are you convince NGOs to actually use this transparency platform? Because I'm sure that for some of them it will be fine, but for the others will be like, I don't want anybody to be watching what I am doing.
the truth is, they're very excited about it. When we started this project, we started hand on hand with an NGO. It's called It Will Be, and it's basically placed itself as one of the most innovative NGOs here in Spain, because the truth is here, let's say the biggest 10 NGOs in Spain are getting 90% of the donations, and they have the money for branding, for communication, for advertising, and there are a lot of small NGOs that are doing great jobs that don't have those resources, and they also don't want to spend the little resources that they have on that. So blockchain and what we've developed gave them the opportunity to say, hey, I'm here, I'm transparent, this is what I'm doing, right? So there are, also bureaucracy, big organizations, not just in the social sector, but in general, it's hard. They're not as agile, they have more complex systems. But in terms of small NGOs that are proactive and really want to show the world what it is that, they're adding value on, they're all in.
So it really works as a marketing tool and also to show how ethical your organization is in terms, no? I think if they use your platform.
I mean, it's also very valuable to them because we tend to think that it's just us as donors that we don't trust NGOs or we don't trust what's happening with our money. I've had people come to the office and say, hey, I'm sending money to India and I don't know what's happening with it. Or we've had cases of one counterpart in India getting money for a project from 4 different sources and just telling them, oh yeah, this is the money that I have, and they quadruple it, right? So it is a very important tool for NGOs because they can also track what it is that's happening after they send proceedings. Bills have to be uploaded, and let's say your counterparty is saying, yes, I paid the teacher this amount this month. The system actually triggers an SMS to the teacher who's already in the program because projects become transparent, saying, hey, we've gotten an invoice of your salary. Did you in fact get it? And he says yes. And it actually registers it as, yes, this is in fact verified, right?
Okay.
So it's basically bringing it all to a whole digital level, what he was saying, and closer to everyone that participates on it.
Okay. Thank you. So there were 2 last questions. One could be for you, Paloma. What is the advice you could give us to improve our networking skills, for example? When we are at an event, how can we have this conversation starter, let's say?
Okay, so I think that the first thing you have to do is to go to lots of networking events, parties, or whatever, like mingle around. It's very important to have clear that we feel confident at this that we do well, and in order to do something well, we have to do it a lot. So we get confident. It's like this. So that's the first advice. Maybe then build up on your self-confidence, and for that you have to always create, let's say, a narrative around your strengths. So you are good at this, that, and you can, it's not about speaking about how amazing you are, it's about having topics that they are easy for you to speaking about. And then maybe invest a bit of time in learning the different personal traits of characters. I mean, everybody is different, and it's very important to learn how to communicate to each kind of character, each kind of person, because this always brings communication much easier. And it makes it also much easier whenever you enter to somewhere and you really do not know anybody and you want to be the queen of the party. So I think these are good tips.
Very, very nice tips. So you said, first of all, get there. So go to the event, first thing.
Yeah.
Second thing, be confident in yourself and really tell about your strengths. Tell the story and don't think about what could others think, for example, before you start the conversation. And lastly,
it was get to learn, devote a bit of time
exactly,
learning
the
about
personality of the
characters.
people, exactly. Be observers, good observers. And Juan, some people were asking at the end about financial help for Erasmus. So can you give us a quick tip on how to get financial help? And
I mean, unfortunately, there is no such thing as a easy tip.
Of course.
But we are advocating, as I said, we're advocating super hard at the international level, from Brussels, from all countries, to have a bigger budget so scholarships can be better, because it's true, like right now many people just can't go on an Erasmus because they don't have enough resources, and this is terrible. So we're trying super hard to change that. Okay, negotiations are taking place, as I said, but if you can't afford a normal Erasmus program, I would recommend, for example, European Voluntary Service or European Solidarity Corps. The name is changing right now, because their resources are better. Okay. Also, always look for any type of extra resource. Some universities have some extra funding. You have Eurodesk that can provide you a lot of opportunities. You can contact us in ESN, so we maybe can look for another opportunity. But as I said, we are working hard to overcome this issue, because it's really unfair that there are some people who just can't go on Erasmus because of the money.
Thank you, Juan. Yes.
And also, like, do not put boundaries on it, because Erasmus Plus is not just for students' mobility.
Yeah.
I mean, you can also, if you are an entrepreneur, you can go like to another country, to like the business of someone that it's already set it up, so you can learn on how they are doing. Or like, there's also a lot of mobility for professional vocation. So like, explore all the opportunities, contact them in order for them to give you the full range of things, because there's a lot that you can take advantage of.
Thank you. Thank you to the three of you. I hope this panel was interesting for you. I hope it encouraged you to really look for opportunities, to be part of communities, and especially network. So thank you. Thank you to the three of you.
Thank you very much. Have fun.
Thank you.
Really, a really big applause for Iñigo, because that was amazing. He makes it look like so easy. He's like, oh, look at me. So easy, don't you see? Don't worry. Iñigo, if your bike is not insurance, we have AXA, is one of our sponsors. You can give them a call, because that's not easy at all. So, I'm going to ask you a question to see if this particular event has been happening in your life. Have you ever pondered how to find your own passion? Our next speaker has asked themselves the question, and I believe he's strongly qualified to give you the answer. So I'm going to ask you for a really big applause for Jan Carbonell.
Hi. I'm going to start actually with a question. How many of you are still at university? Okay, quite a lot. And this one is a bit harder. How many of you failed a class last semester? Okay, fewer people. So I want to start with a story. And it's that 4 years ago, I was studying at university, industrial engineering, and I was failing most of my classes. I think the problem was that I really had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And then I attended a conference, just like this one, and there were very well-renowned speakers. There were Nobel Prize winners, there were presidents of state, there were CEOs, but I think the problem was that because they were already successful and we had such an age gap, I never really aligned with what they were saying. I never said, oh, I could be them one day. So in that very same conference, I actually met a guy, Rodrigo. He was 24 years old. I was working on a laptop, managing a Skype call as he was attending the conference. And I sat with him, and we spoke. He was one of the 10 original talents of Celera, which is a unique human accelerator powered by La Fundación Rafael del Pino that I encourage you to check out later. But essentially, what happened was that when I sat down and dinner with him, I realized that he was on a good track, and we were actually not that much different. The only main difference that I saw was that he was acting in any way that he could to be successful. So what happened was, after I came back from the conference, I decided that I kind of wanted to spark a change in myself. And the first problem was, how do I figure out what to do? And this is why the university is such an interesting lab to experience those sort of things, because I was still in the degree. I signed up for several organizations to volunteer. We traveled to conferences such as Web Summit, South Summit, all over Europe. And from there, and failing many times, I realized that what I wanted to do was aligned with strategy consulting and entrepreneurship. For strategy consulting, I'd say the path is pretty straightforward. If you're right out of university, your best chance is to get an internship. So you have to essentially prepare for a test, do some interviews, and work hard once you get in. So I got an offer from Accenture Strategy, and then I moved to Open Trends. But for entrepreneurship, if some of you are passionate into delving into that area, for me it was a much more complicated question. Because nobody explains how they begin, They're already successful, you see that out, and you're like, okay, how do I do that? Thankfully, I had a friend that had no idea either. So we actually decided to start a club together of like-minded individuals so that we could essentially create events related to entrepreneurship, empower our local university, and by this, learn how it was to be an entrepreneur. So we created the first club of entrepreneurship in our university. We organized startup job fair. We helped some companies, some early stage companies, get employees. And we organized a virtual reality fair. And from there, what I realized was that we actually had no idea when we began, but that we had learned in the process. So one of the things that I can give you when you're at university is really step out of your comfort zone and try things, because if you fail, no one will actually know. In your CV, you'll still say 4 years or 5 years at this university. So go ahead and take that chance. And then, what am I doing now, you may ask, or did something change? Actually, I finished my degree. I founded an artificial intelligence academy, which is called AA Saturdays, with the goal to essentially democratize the access to artificial intelligence to people with any kind of background. And I also won a scholarship to go to Silicon Valley 1 month and create an augmented reality solution. And as I look back, I realized that I was still the same person that I was 4 years ago. The only thing that changed was that I started acting in all the opportunities that I had in life, and I stopped wondering of all the things that I could do or I could have done. So think less, do more would be one of my insights. And as we delve into this experience, I also want to give you a disclosure, which is you actually shouldn't listen to me if your goals are different and are not aligned. From every single conference, you have to figure out what is the things that your values are matched with and what other things you simply don't care about, because you have your own objectives in life and you're the only person that is going to make them happen. So one of the first recommendations that I would give if you don't know what you want to do in life is to figure out what's happening with the environment and which are actually how the world's going to look in the future. So for example, we now have the 4th Industrial Revolution, and you may say, we've had 1, 2, 3 revolutions before. How is this one going to be different, And actually, I think that there are 3 things that are going to change on this one. And the first one is that the time frame in which it's going to take place is going to be much, much short. If you think about the first Industrial Revolution, it took place in about 100 years. The second one is that it's going to be incredibly scalable, and it's going to have high impact on the jobs. And the third one is that there's going to be a concentration of power and wealth enabled by the scalability of those algorithms. And the responsible of this is essentially the data, because it's increasing exponentially. And if you also think about it, you don't care about the data that you're giving out. We don't care where genes come from. We don't care where our iPhones come from, provided that they give us the actual best experience. So this probably will also transition onto software. So, okay, as we delve into this maybe new world or this challenging, changing environment, one question that we could ask ourselves is, if I'm at university, what should I do? Should I learn coding, or should I do something different than the machines are doing and be more emotional? So I actually want to ask you that question. So how many of you think that we should learn how to code? Okay, and how many of you think that we should stop doing things that machines are good at and do other things more emotional, such as this painting? Okay, interesting. So I have good and bad news for you. This painting is done by an AI algorithm. So one of the first insights is that if you think that your job cannot be overthrown by AI, I would say think again, because it's really challenging a lot of the old paradigms that we have. And at the same time, yes, AI is going to be better at us than coding, which means that we're just basically going to have to learn how we can leverage that unique set of skills to combine it and align it with our goals. And this leaves us to a paradigm where there are going to be many new roads we're going to be able to explore, and there are some things that are going to be left behind. For example, if you think about traditional education, I actually think that currently is not able to keep the pace with the changes in technology. I don't know about you, but I never studied big data or I never studied blockchain in my university. We did processes from 20 years ago. And for example, in the United States, what has happened now is that more people have graduated from coding boot camps that last 3 months than people doing computer science degrees that take 4 years and put them on $200,000 of debt. My key insight on how we can learn to thrive in this environment is to be able to adapt to any kind of change and circumstance. I think that the world is going to be for the people that are able to learn faster and quicker than everybody else, because we're basically going to have to relearn things. And maybe with this, I can share a personal experience, since they mentioned the Erasmus, and is that I won a scholarship to go to Brazil to develop a solution for the blind. And I landed in Brazil, and I thought that people spoke English. And when I landed there, the taxi driver didn't speak English, and I thought, okay, maybe he's the taxi driver, so I'll go and speak to somebody else. And then I realized that no one that I interacted with on a daily basis actually spoke English. So what happened to me was that I was in a country, and I had no way of communicating with the people there. So what also happens if you ever go to São Paulo, it's a city with 18 million people, which means that no matter where you live, it takes you 1 hour to go to one place, and it takes you 1 hour to come back. So I downloaded Duolingo, and then on my hour of bus rides, I started learning Portuguese, and then I signed up for Jiu-Jitsu, and it turns out that when you're getting kicked in the face, you can learn Portuguese much faster. So just learn to adapt and thrive in any kind of environment. And the other thing is, you really have to make sure that what you're doing it because you want it, and not because other people are telling you that you should do that. Because once that parting this challenge, you're going to have to figure out how what you want to do fits in this new context. So I know it's an old cliche, but I really, really recommend that you do what you feel that you can do. And I also want to give a disclosure is, you should still be open-minded. Like, many of the innovations that we see today are interconnections between different ideas and different fields. So just be open to the changes and the opportunities that your environment gives you. Another thing that I believe very firmly is that you can learn anything if you just have the motivation and the mindset to solve yourself through it. I have a short story and a long one, and the short one is, when I went to Silicon Valley, I realized that it was the last year that the marathon was going to go over the Golden Bridge in San Francisco. So I thought, okay, I'm going to buy a ticket. So I bought it. And there was 2 problems, which was the marathon was 1 month away, and I had actually not run for 2 years. So I called my mom, and I said, Mom, this happened, what is your advice? And she was like, don't do it. I was like, okay, thank you. So I called my partner. She said, Jan, you're crazy. And I was like, okay, but I still really, really want to do it. So what happened is I called some friends of mine that were doctors, and they told me, the thing that you should do is figure out how not to injure your joints. And then I did a training plan with them of how to run for those 30 days. We did some ice baths and some pretty crazy diet things, but through day by day, I actually managed to make it. So anybody that now tells me that you cannot run a marathon in 1 month, I'd say it's not a good experience, like you will suffer. I'd really recommend to do 6 months, but you can still do it. So just don't allow other people's limitations to set your own, because you're still a very different individual. And in the very same line, this actually started as a failure, but I realized that my passion was how to create a positive impact through technology in our society. And for that, I needed to learn how to code. So what did I do? Oh, I did it. No, okay. It wasn't this story. I signed up for 4 online courses. I gave up on all of them. There was a point that they were too hard for me, and life just sets in. And then I went to hackathons with my friends. I don't know if you've ever been to one. Because I had the business profile, what actually happened was that I ended up just serving coffee to my friends, hoping that the programs worked, and preparing for the business pitches at the hackathons. And I was completely lost. I was like, how should I do this? So I actually quit my job so I could go on a coding bootcamp for 9 weeks, focus on doing that. and we actually developed the first web application, and now, which is maybe another challenge, I'm going to do a master's on artificial intelligence. I think the reason why we struggle so much to learn or to achieve our goals nowadays is because all of you have Instagram, and all of you have WhatsApp, and they offer you much better options in terms of fulfilling your dopamine addiction than to actually work hard and suffer a bit. So I'd say if you go to Instagram right now, we also have a huge problem, which is if you are interested in health, you will find someone that does better fitness and meals than you. If you're interested in traveling, you will find some cool blogger that happens to go to Bali every 2 weeks. And I think that is very important that we learn how to keep ourselves away from those distractions, because they're not real, they're not there, and even if they are, it's your life. You're not competing against anyone else. You're doing this for yourself. So I'd say we need to learn how to disconnect from social media, how to say no to all the crazy opportunities that we have in our life, to focus on the things that we actually want. And another thing is, if you're working alone, your vision is probably not bold enough. The reality is you could be doing something better. When you work with a team, you will be able to connect the different abilities of the people and create something that goes beyond what you could have achieved individually. I would say learn how to do one thing, do it well, and then they'll hire you, or you will be able to lead teams that are incredibly successful. So again, one recommendation, be a team player. And again, I want to reinforce on the compass thing, because I feel that there's a huge imposter syndrome. I feel it daily, where I don't know where I'm heading or where I'm going. I have a sense of direction, but these things still come up, and I feel that it's a common situation among university students. So I would say, just learn to live with it. You're always going to feel like you shouldn't be there, but you are still there, and you can still achieve something greater. So learn how to live with it, and make sure that you are acting on your long-term vision. And last but not least, if I can give only one recommendation, if you stick from one thing from this 10-minute speech, and I know that your attention span is shortening, is be perseverant. Sometimes opportunities are just one more message away. There's an interesting reflection that I like to bring, and it's that we are 7 billion people in this earth. This means that your very same goals, it's very likely that someone has them elsewhere, and they're working hard to achieve them. So what are you going to do? Are you going to work harder, or are you going to let it play on chance? I would recommend you that you work hard, and I promise you that results will come. Thank you so much. Also, before I delve into the questions, I also believe a lot in giving back. The reason why I'm here is because somebody took their time to help me in a moment where I was completely lost. So if you want to reach out to me, that's like my email and my social media. Make sure to send me a message. I'll try to reply in due time, and I'll try to head with the questions. I'm going to start with the second one. Do you think that being busy or not having enough time is an excuse of bad planification? I think it's an excuse for bad prioritization. We all are doing an amazing set of things, and in a way, what I like to think is, if you're not busy enough, maybe you should try to be. But the reality is, in order of all the list of things that you have to do, you need to be able to say, this is number one for me, and I cannot take this amazing opportunity because I'm focused on this or I'm focused on that. So I would say, I guess people that are able to plan better are maybe less busy or can split better their time. But if you're busy, my advice to you would be, make sure that a new opportunity doesn't go on top, put it on the bottom. Just do the things that you care first and then move on to the other ones. So how do you find time to learn new things? is a gap year an option? The way that I find time is I schedule time. I have gaps on my calendar where it doesn't matter if it's 7 p.m., it's still my hour of learning. So you are actually busy in that time frame. A gap year is definitely an option, but don't take a gap year because everybody's taking a gap year. Take a gap year because you want to do something with that gap year, if it relates. Let's see. You can argue that at any given time, the future will have unexplored roads and uncertainty. What makes it any different than the past future? I think that is very true. The difference that we have now is that we know that at some point in time, 20, 30 years from now, there's going to be a massive change that will take over because it's just set to happen. We could say probably if we looked back 20 years ago, there would still be predictions. For example, when you look at the stock market, I have a sense that nobody knows what they're calling the shots. But the reality is, at least for me, is how this change is going to happen. Like if you think about artificial intelligence, it's going to keep getting better. If you think about robotics, it's going to increasingly be more combined with artificial intelligence. And the problem that's going to create for us, and also the opportunity, is that we had jobs, and now they're going to be taken over. A very simple question is, how many of you want to be a taxi driver? What's the reason for that? Because you all feel that in 5 years, maybe, or in 10 years, we don't know, that's the uncertainty, there will be a car that will be able to take you from A to B, or maybe not even a car. There's speedy bikes on Madrid, there's bikes. It's the paradigm of mobility is changing. So I would say, yeah, you have to deal with uncertainty, but the interesting thing that we have now is that we kind of know that something will happen for sure in 20x given years. What do you do if your studies in university don't let you a lot of time to start your own projects and start entrepreneurship? So I would say, if I was you or if I was back at university, how I would take that decision is, what is your goal? Is your goal to be an A+ student so that you can later access the opportunities that performing well at university gives you? Or are you convinced that you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to start as early as possible? Again, I think it goes back to making sure what your goals are and setting a track through it. What I would definitely not recommend is to pivot between one of the two options, because if you then have to explain how 1 year you had amazing grades and then the other year you tried a startup but it failed, but then you went back on track, you will be doing nothing in between. So yeah, my advice is that you figure out what you want to do in life. I think that's it. Thank you very much. Hope to chat around the event.
Okay, I'm having a bit of an issue, because every time I'm in the stairs, I'm like, what am I going to say? Because I'm all the time saying the same. Like, I get up and I'm like, oh, wow. And I'm like, I'm saying all the time the same. So I don't know what to say. It's just like, everything is amazing, everything is incredible, they do it, everything very good, and I'm saying all the time the same, and I'm very annoying. So I think that's like my job here, to be annoying as F. I cannot say the word fuck. Okay, so I told you before that one of our sponsors was AXA. That's why I told Iñigo that if he needs, insurance the bike, a little call. Call me maybe, as Kylie Rae Jepsen says in her song. And I don't know if you're, I thought you were asking me a question, the guy in green, but I think like the super light is annoying him. Are you annoyed by the light? Just a little bit, right? I can see because you're the only one green, like in the whole audience. I can just see you. You're like Hulk. So funny. You're like, and I'm like, are you asking me a question? Is that? I want to answer some question, but it was not a question. So if somebody can just give him a normal light and help him live his life with peace will be really blessed for that. I'm just gonna say something really quickly, 2 things. If you go to the festival zone, it's closed, okay? There's no food. There'll be food, but there's no food right now. So it doesn't have any sense that you go. And if you wanna pee, bathrooms are upstairs. And the air-conditioned thing, okay, I know, you're freezed. When we take it off, okay, you're burning in hell. We can see it in Twitter. It's like, oh, God, I'm in fire. I'm in flames. God, I'm dying because I'm gonna have pneumonia. We cannot do anything, so you now know it's better that we're a bit cold and we don't sweat and we smell the sweat of each other because we're many people. So tomorrow, if you come back, you bring a little jacket and we're all in peace. We don't sweat as little pigs. I don't know if pigs sweat, though. Well, we don't sweat and everybody's like prepared. Said this, we're gonna give a super warm, because we're cold, we're gonna give a super warm welcome to Hassan from AXA.
Oh, hello everyone. So I liked a lot that I was here since the morning because can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. So very happy to be here since the morning because I was very inspired by the speech of Fran Pascual. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, when he spoke about fear. And I could tell you that I am extremely afraid now. I'm afraid for many reasons, that Maria had to convince you to stay because you're hungry and there is no food outside. Because she tried to convince you that to welcome me, you have to clap hard, and that's the only way to be warm. And that the only reason why I was invited, that we're a sponsor. And it's not because I was actually invited, it's the fact that because AXA sponsored this event, AXA invited me, and they hope that I will be able to inspire you today. So AXA asked me to speak about myself, to speak about my experience as an employee of AXA, what I do every day, what has been my story, and why I'm inspired by this company, which is also another challenge that I'm very afraid of. But Fran Pasquale taught me today that I need to put my fear away and as much as possible be able to control it, and hopefully I will be succeeding in doing this today. So before telling you a little bit about AXA, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I am from Egypt. I'm probably one of the oldest people in this room. I graduated from the UK, discovered the world, traveled, wanted to work in development because I thought that coming from a very poor country, I wanted to really do something that will help people out of poverty. I joined the World Bank Group, and the mission of the World Bank Group was to eradicate poverty. So I was very inspired by that mission. I joined. Unfortunately, it was a very big organization where poverty was not really what we did every day. So I decided to change my life. I did an MBA in Spain at IE Business School. I fell in love with Spain. And at the time, I was really wondering, what will the future look like? So I want to ask you in the room here, how many people know what they want to do today? Okay, so few people. Who from you do not know at all what they want to do tomorrow? Okay, so there are something in the middle. How many of you want to become entrepreneurs? Okay, more people. How many people want to work for a big organization? Like AXA. Okay, I'm seeing more people. So when I graduated, it was a very interesting time. I was in Spain. It was in 2009, 2010. If you may remember, some of you, this was one of the worst financial crises in the world. Everything changed. You know, bankers became bad people. No one wanted to work in banking anymore. Investment bankers completely changed. This became not the sexy jobs that we all used to dream of. And when I came to Spain, my wife told me, we really want to stay in Spain if possible. So imagine someone with my name. My name is Hassan Jabronishe. 2010, 35% unemployment rate. And I told my wife, if you are a Spanish company, will you ever hire someone with the name of Hassan Jabronishe who does not speak Spanish? She told me yes. I said, no, it's not because your wife you're telling me this. I'm asking you, if you are a company, will you hire me? And she said, yes, I think you should try. I sent my CV probably to 100 companies and only one responded. And this is the great company that I work for today called AXA. So AXA responded. I went to an interview with a very French man who told me in a very French accent, why do you want to join AXA? So I said, many reasons. So I thought at the time, at this moment, that I have two choices. Either I will answer the very typical answer that you see in any interview. I looked at your website, I found that you are the #1 insurance company in the world, and that really I'm inspired to be part of the leadership team of your company in order to expand and grow. And I said, I have two ways to answer this question, a bullshit answer or the real answer. So which one do you want me to answer? If you just want to test my ability to answer these type of questions, I could do it. Or if you want the real answer, I could also do it. And the real answer is that my wife wants to stay in Spain, I love Spain, and no other company basically allowed me to be here except you, so I'm desperate for a job. And really, I joined AXA in 2010, joined in Spain. 3 years later, I moved to Paris. From Paris, I was allowed to start an entrepreneurial project to start AXA in Egypt, where I am from. So I just want to show you a very short video about that experience, and then we'll talk later.
Well, it all started when Gilbert and I arrived to Cairo with nothing but our suitcases, BlackBerry and laptops, which Philippe Dubois from Group IT accepted to lend us. The mission was establish AXA in Egypt, in one of the biggest markets of Africa. 92 million people, $300 billion of GDP, and a huge insurance potential, 0.7% penetration rate, one of the lowest in the world.
I remember well how Hassan convinced the landlord to rent us our first temporary offices with his own credit card. The next week, I came from Paris and told Hassan, but where are we supposed to sit? The next weekend, we were at IKEA buying our first furnitures. We started to study the market, understand its dynamics, politics, stakeholders, and prepare our business case and market entry strategy. This was later on validated by the MC in January.
We knew that the license was our biggest challenge and started to prepare it back then. The requirements were overwhelming and we had to stay focused. Without it, there is no AXA. So we thought, what can we do? Well, let's meet with the president. People thought we were crazy, but we did it. We met with the Egyptian president in November in Paris. It was an unforgettable moment. The excitement and energy, positivity we got were great. A true milestone for our beginning.
After the MC approval, we quickly realized it was the real start of the building phase. Starting recruitment, building our IT platform, creating our non-life product offering.
As Gilbert mentioned, our next challenge was to build a leadership team. It was not easy, as at the beginning, no one really knew the brand name. But March was a great milestone. We got our initial license from the regulator.
This was an amazing success, and at the same time, a huge relief. There was so many uncertainties.
By then, we had the initial team.
Legal entities, capital to operate, some processes in place.
It was the peak phase of our building.
the time of setting up our IT systems with the support of our colleagues from the Gulf region.
In June, we had our first award already. We were perceived as the most dynamic company in Egypt when we actively participated in the 10th year anniversary of the Mediterranean Network Association, which is the main broker association in the market.
This event raised our brand awareness in the market and showed the new spirit and dynamism of the AXA team. And during all that time, we were in the back scene working in parallel on a great distribution opportunity, which is to partner with the first bank in Egypt and acquire the third largest life insurance company in the market.
In July, we signed the agreement.
Today, we are operationally ready and very impatient to sell our first policy.
Blah, 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 blah. This was when the opening happened. Thank you. Then this is the opening happened. This was the press conference where we launched. This was the initial team 6 months after the operation started. This was then 12 months after it started. And this was 1.5 years after we started, and the company was making 200 million euros of revenue, and it became one of the fastest growing companies in AXA from a pure greenfield, from something that we really didn't know. As you've seen, we were going to IKEA, we did not have big budgets, we were working in a very startup mode into something now that really operates, where we're serving more than 500,000 customers in Egypt, specifically on health, where we did not want to bring products that people do not really need, but to really serve a real problem where in Egypt people are not treated by empathy or care when it comes to health, and really wanted to do something impactful. I was then promoted to become the Chief Innovation Officer for AXA, where we launched the first blockchain product, which I was happy that today you spoke about blockchain in a very startup mode, which is called Fizzy. You can check it out, but we don't have time to show you the video. I then changed 6 months ago, and now we're trying to launch our operations across Africa, so I'm in charge of Africa. So the moral of the story that I wanted to tell you is that even if I wanted to become an entrepreneur, and unfortunately I came from the southern part of this world, where usually you have a passport that looks like this color, which is a green color, and if Mohammed is part of your name, you're not treated really well usually in airports, because randomly, usually I will be the one selected to be checked in the airport, because as you can see, Hassan Mohammed El Jabronishe is not the sexiest name. Still, AXA believed in me, gave me the opportunity. So if really you want to unleash your potential, this is a place where you can become what I know today called intrapreneur, where you can do a lot, where you can grow, you can become an entrepreneur within a big organization that is really able to support you, give you the brand, give you the support. And if finally, one request, if you found this the most boring session ever, please still lie a bit, clap hard, because I want these people to invite me again. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Hassan. I don't think they're clapping because you asked them for. I think they really felt it, because that was amazing. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think you know that we're like in this world where Instagram is very important. I think it's like another world, like an independent world. And we're started to become like our own brands for them ourselves, like we're our own brand, and we invest in ourselves as a brand. So the world is filled with different brands, there are many types, many characteristics. It's just depending on who we are. The business work more or less the same way. There are many kinds of business, all types with many characteristics. And here is where the ability of branding comes in. On this point, do brands have the ability to shape a business? like to transform the business, the way they're interpreted. I will now present you the following 3 brands that are changing the panoramic view of business, that are changing the world, and their quality just speaks for themselves. We're going to welcome Kenza back to moderate this panel and this amazing brand, so please, a huge applause for them.
Hello again, hello. I hope you're not getting tired of me. There are still 3-4 panels I have to moderate today. But I'm sure this one is also going to be very, very interesting because we're going to talk about brands that are really impacting our world, that are really making a positive difference. Obviously, all brands can do this, and big corporations also do through CSR, for example. But the 2 people that I'm going to invite today to the stage are really doing this in an innovative way, because actually doing good is not simple, but doing good in an efficient and in an innovative way is really, really not that simple. So please welcome to the stage Antonio Espinosa de los Monteros, President of Awara. And Oriol Reul, Country Manager, Too Good To Go. Please take a seat. So, I'm going to ask you to please introduce yourself, as I've said to everyone, and I'm very strict on this. Who are you, where do you come from, and what your organization do?
Okay, sure. Thanks a lot, Benza, first of all, and welcome everyone, and thanks to be here. This is an amazing moment to share what's happening today. So this is really amazing. I'm Oriol, I'm country manager on Too Good To Go, but I would say that I'm a food waste warrior. I'm not from the army, but I'm a warrior because we fight food waste with Too Good To Go, which is something really important, and I will explain you later why.
Great, thank you. Antonio?
So first of all, thanks for the invitation. It's an amazing place, amazing people here. And well, I'm Antonio Espinosa. I'm one of the founders of Awara. And basically, we're a company with a mission. And our mission is to end up the most extreme material poverty through the development of water projects in the poorest communities of the world. And we do so, we finance these projects by selling amazing and sustainable products here in Spain. That's more or less what we do.
Thank you, Antonio. And my first question is going to go for you. So you're a social enterprise, and you facilitate access to thousands of people that don't have access to water. So you create these bottles of water. They're very aesthetic. I watched them and your website. They're very nice. So how is your day-to-day different as a social enterprise from a typical corporate company or for-profit company?
I think that basically our day-to-day needs to be different, but it shouldn't be different. I mean, I wish every company could be more social in the things they do daily, in a daily basis. So for us, it's really important to accomplish our mission, which is bringing clean water to people in need in developing countries. But if we don't bring this social mission to whatever we do in a daily basis, to relationships with ourselves, with our teams, with our providers, with our clients, with the people surrounding us, then we're failing in our mission. So we try to really be social in everything we do, starting from the person that's sitting right behind you. And I think that's as much as being a social enterprise as our social projects. So because we find that there's a big issue with water. We need to solve a big poverty in terms of material poverty. But then we find that here in Spain, surrounding us, very close to us, there's another kind of poverty, and it's more on spiritual poverty. And it's a poverty that affects people that have everything, more than they need, but still they're unhappy. So I think that kind of mission is the mission that companies should try to address, because we spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day working in a company. So we're devoting the most of our life to a company, and that place should be somewhere where we feel we're developing ourselves as people, as persons.
I love your answer. I think it's amazing. I completely agree. At the end, doing good is in the little things, not a big project, an ambitious project, but it's in the relationship you have, as you said, with your colleagues, how you treat them with respect. These are the little details. So I completely agree. And what are the challenges, for example, that you face as a social enterprise that you think a normal company doesn't face?
I think we have limited time. So challenges are so many challenges, but basically there are limits we don't cross as a social enterprise because we think ethic is the number one criteria to take decisions. And sometimes you face the situations where the profitability or any other criteria would take you through one way, but ethics take you another way that is much harder normally. And I think the challenge is go the hard way every time you find this situation. And this kind of choosing comes up every day, in big and small things.
Thank you, Antonio. Thank you. So, Oriol, you also do a very impressive thing at your company. So, Too Good To Go is actually avoiding food waste. And what you do is helping food stores sell their surplus food through your smartphone app, which actually connects the buyer and the store so that there's no food waste. So, it sounds very simple, very good idea to avoid food waste. So a lot of us here are looking for inspiration as to how to develop an innovative model and how can this kind of businesses thrive. So what is the base of the success of Too Good To Go?
Okay, that's quite a difficult question, but basically let's start with Too Good To Go. Everything started with a huge problem that most of us we didn't know, and basically 1 of 3 products that we produce goes to the bin. So this is crazy. 1 out of 3. So basically 33% of all the things we produce goes directly to the bin in one point in the chain. So it's a huge problem that we are facing, not just because a lot of people doesn't have food to live, but also because all this food that we throw to the bin, it means that it's the 3rd main producer of CO2 in the world, after China and US. So we have a really huge problem, and based on that, when we found this need, so this is really a main issue that we need to tackle, and here appears Too Good To Go. So I think that one of the main questions we need to ask ourselves if we want to create a new and innovative business model is to challenge what's happening, what issues do we have in this market or in society, and this will be the way to find something that it's really innovative. But I think it's also important to show you, I would like to say to you that because maybe you see Too Good To Go and it's so big now and it seems like, wow, crazy, I cannot come with this idea. But this starts with something really, really small. So you just need to find one opportunity, one need in the society, and maybe this is the point just to start, and then you will have at the end a really innovative business model. So don't try to create something really big at the beginning, just do it super simple, challenge yourself what can be better in society. I think that these days we are really living on one era, one of the most disruptive era that we never lived, so there's plenty of opportunities. But also here, and I think Awara and Too Good To Go has something special, is that in the last 10 years, all the e-commerce marketplaces that were really nice, they were a win-win. So basically they connect, and it was a win for the consumer and of course for the seller. But I think that today, the new companies and the new business models should be win-win-win. Who is this third win? This is our planet and this is the environment, because if we don't care about that, we're going to destroy it. And for this reason, we need new projects that of course are scalable and viable and super interesting, but on the other side, we need always to look into the planet, and this is something really important, and for me, this is the 4th revolution, to use digital transformation, but not just to use blockchain or to use big data, to use it for a social purpose. So I think this is our generation, and this is the change that we need to do today.
Yes, definitely. And I really liked your sentence, win-win-win. At the end, it's not just the multi-sided platform win as in user company, but also the entire environment, let's say. So thank you very much. How many of you guys are thinking of starting a social enterprise? Okay, great. I hope you found some inspiration. So you can start sending us your question. We will be answering a couple of questions. And lastly, I would like to ask you both, what kind of advice would you give to someone looking forward to start a social enterprise? Antonio, for example?
I would say, I would give 3 advices. Sorry, 3.
We're generous here, guys.
The first one is starting by yourself. Like, starting by what can I do in my daily life? And I mean this because there's a sentence that I like very much, and it says, tidy up your room before you try to fix the world. So I think that's really important, because sometimes we don't understand how big is the impact we can have in our daily in the things we do constantly every day. And when you take it to the business, then you understand that everything you sell has the potential to change the world as well. So you think of products in a very different way. The second would be have your mission. I mean, find your mission, find your why, the reason you want to start up something, because starting up something is not the easy way. It's actually the hard way. Is not comfortable. It's going to be a very tough journey in every sense. So you need a really good purpose to do it, and I think social entrepreneurship has this upgrade of purpose that helps you persevere. And the third advice is work your commitment, because again, it's not easy, but even if you have a good purpose to do things, if you don't work your commitment, if you don't look in the long term, if you don't have a vision of what you're doing, you're gonna get lost, and things are really tough in the way. So I think those will be the 3 ones.
Thank you, Antonio. Oriol?
Okay, just before I want, because I saw that not a lot of you want to create a social enterprise, and a lot of you want to create or be an entrepreneur. So I really think, and for example, I really love food, and of course I could think in the past, okay, I'm going to create another delivery company, but I will do something different, and okay, I will try to do my best on that. But I think that our paper in society and in this world is to think, how can I improve the things that we have now in the food industry, for example? So I think that those are the type of things that all of us has the responsibility. It's really small because we are a lot of people, but every one of us has the responsibility every time we throw food into the bin, every time we use plastic, every time we go with car. So basically this is our goal, so we need to keep it as much as better for the next societies that will come and will use super interesting technologies. So for this reason, I think that it's quite important to think on that.
Thank you, Oriol. I agree with both of your advices. Thank you very much. So let's take the first question, for example. I think it's interesting. It could go for you, Antonio. So what is your view on the ways that big corporations are currently working on CSR, and how could they innovate by collaborating with you?
It's a tough question. Very compromised. I think CSR is not something that can be defined as a department of the company, because as a person, I don't have the department or the moment of the day where I'm responsible. I'm responsible all myself, or I should try to be responsible in my whole person. So I think the CSR concept should be related with the mission of the company, should be related with how we think strategically about where we're going as a company. And it should I don't know, should be over everything we do. not just a department, which is good. I mean, it's good that big companies have these departments because they kind of influence the company. But I think it should be very integrated with the direction of companies. And the second one is...
How could they innovate by collaborating with you?
Well, I think most of big companies are already looking for startups because for them it's very expensive to have their own innovation departments or structures. So they find outside things that are interesting and that are built by young people, or not so young, but people that are committed with their projects, and so they can incorporate it in the company and foster the way it grows up. And I think they're doing quite well, actually.
Yes, I agree that actually open innovation should be an opportunity also to do good, not only just invent new technologies, new platforms and everything, but also to innovate. Thank you, Antonio. And lastly, we're going to take the question from Ana Nieto, for example. Oriol, what do you think of the zero waste, no package movement?
Sorry, can you repeat?
What do you think of the zero waste, no package movement?
Okay, it's really the future, and I fully agree on that. It's quite difficult in terms of logistics, operations, because we are coming back to the origins in a world where we don't have food that comes from so far from us, which is quite good. This is local food trend. I think it's the future, in fact, but we cannot have it in 100%. But if we can change 1%, 2% on that, that will really help a lot. And I think Too Good To Go movement goes in the same line. So we are talking about no food waste, but in general, we are talking about no waste. So we try to take advantage and use things as much as possible.
Thank you. Thank you to the both of you. Great. So I hope that for you guys, those that want to create a social enterprise, this panel was inspiring for you. So thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. That was really interesting. Are you learning very much this morning? Are you empapando yourself of knowledge? Empapando. How is empapando? I don't know. Well, are you learning a lot? I hope you are. I'm gonna please ask you to give a really, really warm welcome to Bernardo Navazo, the president of the Rafael del Pino Foundation Scholarship Association. So please, really a big applause for him. You are the next.
For me, the Fundación means meet different people and learn about technology and business.
For me, the Rafael del Pino means like almost another family.
It has given me the opportunity to meet amazing people with the same interests.
Rafael del Pino Foundation trusted me when I wanted to pursue a career change.
So for me, the foundation, it was a turning point.
The Rafael del Pino Foundation has changed my life.
I really believe that this opportunity it's one of the best things that have ever happened to me professionally.
So thanks to the foundation, my life has completely changed.
So that was a dream came true.
Before entering Celera, I think I was at risk of losing myself, and during these years I think I have found myself again.
Self has helped me meet a lot of people from very different backgrounds. It's just been a huge amount of progress and personal and professional development.
the perfect place to do robotics and entrepreneurship projects.
So being part of this community is a great opportunity, both professionally and personally.
To attend a course at Fundación Rafael del Pino in Madrid has been a step closer to achieve my goals.
I can honestly say that the foundation has changed my life.
Thank you very much, Fundación. Hi, everybody. Thanks again for inviting me. It is a great pleasure. My name is Bernardo Navaso, and I think that if we had previously my AXA friend that was from Egypt, saying that Egypt is a very exotic place, let me tell you that I'm also from a very exotic place by the name of Albacete. So when I was 17 years old, I finished high school in Albacete, and I had the opportunity to come to Madrid to study my studies, my university degree, and I did so with a lot of hopes, a lot of dreams, a lot of espoirs that were all going in my pocket. And here I am, some 13 years later. We have always have this feeling about what means growing up, finishing your studies, finishing your high school, your university degrees, going then in the professional arena, thinking about doing other master's degree, doing, I don't know, like trying to get international internships in other organizations, or, you know, like putting your first foot on a solid way in this time that it will be your life. And how difficult it is, how many decisions you have to make in all these different times. Like, are you gonna study a master's degree? Are you gonna pursue a PhD? Are you gonna try to get an international organization? So these are the kind of questions that I guess, I mean, let me ask you, how many of you are asking these kind of questions at the moment? About studying a master's degree? How many of you? Can you raise your hands? Very nice. High energy contact over there. For example, trying to find an international experience, professional experience. How many of you have worked abroad? Many of you. So you see here that in these kind of places we are together like, I don't know, a lot of people that are very talented, very young leaders that have active desire to do something good in the world. And I guess that the one thing that goes from one place to the other, the one thing that connects all us, is this burning desire to do something good, this inner motivation that we may have in our belly, that we want to do things that are interesting, that are useful, that are efficient, that are beautiful. We're talking about the different initiatives previously, about our two previous speakers, this idea of win-win-win. I guess that everybody here is trying to look for the different ways that life, you know, has given you the opportunity or is about to give you the opportunity to grow, to promote yourself, to keep doing the things that you want. And to me, when I was 18, 19 years old, and I was doing my studies here, and I didn't know that many people, and I were going to my university school. I studied aeronautical engineering, and then I did another degree, and I was always trying to find the next stone, the next place to go. I have to say that I found a lot of information and a lot of different help in Fundación Rafael del Pino. I am lucky enough now, some years later, to be the president of the alumni club of all those different programs that you have seen just a moment ago that Fundación Rafael del Pino is putting at your absolutely and utter disposals. So I was lucky enough when I was 24, 25 years to get to know this foundation and ask for a scholarship. How many of you would like to ask for a scholarship to study abroad at Columbia University, Harvard, Stanford, INSEAD, LSE, Cambridge, Oxford? Who will not, I guess? So Fundación Rafael del Pino is the best place to come to get this information, to know exactly what are the different steps that you have to, you know, like to overcome in order to apply for these programs and to do it in a very successful way. And I could say not that much and not that many things. Fundación Rafael del Pino, they spend a lot of time, resources, and people that are eager to help you to achieve your dreams, to pursue your passions. and to, I would say, to materialize this inner desire that we were talking earlier that we all have. So, friends, let me do this. Let me please ask you to give a huge round of applause to all the people that are working in Fundación Rafael del Pino that are here with us today at that corner. Por favor, Pilar, Macarena, can you raise your hand over there? And Beatriz, they are being super useful. And guys, we'll be at your disposal later in the lunch break, so ask us any questions, and I will tell you about how to get from Albacete to United States or to any place that your dreams will lead you to. Thank you very much and enjoy these days. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everything in life. Thank you for being here again. I hope to see you all tomorrow. And if not, you're gonna be missing something really special. And it's your loss. I'm very happy for this next speaker, because I'm really happy when we have young people, like, I don't know, like being passionate about things, just being so passionate to achieve what they want, and just making people see that they really can actually achieve everything that they want, and prove to older generations that future generations and younger generations just come really strong to the game. And I'm really happy about that. I'm proud. I told yesterday I was like a proud mom of some people that are just like my age, but I just feel like old. I'm like, oh, he's doing so well with my little jacket on like this. Oh, so well, so proud. I was in his place 1 year ago. Those times are gone. So I want to please you give a really, really, really big hug for a young lady, a beautiful young lady called Chebbi, she's going to prove you everything that I said. She's amazing, so please welcome her like she deserves.
Hello, Madrid. Isn't she amazing? She's so funny and amazing. And I'm very tempted to sit on the couch, but I have to stand, so. I'm super excited to be here. It's my first time here in Madrid, and I already loving the vibe, loving the city, and loving everyone here. And what I'm gonna talk about today is identity, because I think identity is the way we interact with each other and the way we perceive each other. So I wanna tell you about my 3 identities, the rebel in me who turned into an activist, the woman in me who turned into a feminist, and the Pan-African who I don't know yet where it will take me. I want to share this because these identities liberated who I am today, and I think everyone should find their identity. In finding their identity, they will find their voice. They should own it. It becomes their power, and then they should use it, and then act on it. So let's start with the rebel in me. I'm not sure, my presentation is missing some parts. But I grew up as a nomad. Because of my father's work in the army, we used to travel every 1 to 3 years to a different city in Tunisia. I studied in 8 different schools, from north to south, to east to west. And I grew up with the attitude that I do what I want. I don't give a shit, because I'm gonna leave in few months. So I was naughty. I would date as much as I can. Every day for me was the last day, because I'm leaving in few months. But I grew up also in a fairly conservative Muslim family. Both my mother's side and my father's side were very conservative. So I'm the only non-veiled woman in the family, and I'm talking about big family of 30+ cousins and 10+ aunties and uncles. I was the first to travel abroad, but also to study abroad or live by myself abroad. And I had to stand up for myself and be a rebel in many situations and say no to many things. So I was forced to study engineering, and after a few months in engineering school, I hated it. But this is the normal path to take for my family, which is where the job is: engineer, medicine, teacher. This is the typical. So I left engineering school and I went to do humanities and international relations, which was seen as, what are you doing there? There is no job there. And after I finished my undergrad, I was pressured to do masters right after undergrad. That's also the path you should take. But I decided, how can I do a master's when I don't know what I want to study? I'm not going to do it. And I left school for a couple of years, went on to discover myself and the word, and just finished my master's actually last year. I was also had to say no to many things as simple as my hair. All my life I had a straight hair, not because I wanted to, because I didn't know I had a curly hair until I was in college, and I didn't have the time or money to go to the salon. So I shower, I get out of the shower, I leave it as messy with the intention to fix it later. And this was the result. And since then, I had my natural hair, but many in my extended family think that's a mess, you need to go fix it. I had to stand for myself and say no, and say, I don't want to be this, I want to be this. I don't want to wear that, I want to wear this. But that revolutionary or rebel in me was not a political voice until Tunisia's revolution. How many of you know about Tunisia's revolution? How many of you know about the Arab Spring? Okay, much more people. What you know as the Arab Spring, which I think is a Western narrative, we call it the Revolution of Dignity. So in 2010, 2011, we overthrew 23 years dictatorship. I was 22 years old at the time. And with that, I have learned a lot from the revolution. Basically, I learned to own my narrative and my voice, and I started a blog called Proudly Tunisian, reporting what's happening on the ground, challenging mainstream media reporting, and it got really popular. It was read by thousands of people, and it got, at the end, many of my blogs were picked by international media. But the most important part of that is that I owned my voice, and I owned my narrative, because I realized we make the news until we become the news. And we have to tell our own stories and make everyone believe that's the mainstream story. And also, blogging is very powerful, because if you look at many governments now who still shut down internet in some countries and arrest someone for posting something online, it means that it's a tool that is threatening and it's powerful. Being part of Tunisia's revolution also made me believe that change can happen, and we can do it. We must not complain and watch the system. We have to change the system. And change can happen when it's bottom up, when it's youth-led, and when it's with people power. And that's when the Pan-African in me emerged. I started traveling across Africa to support other uprisings. All the world was looking at the Middle East, but there was so much happening in Africa. Many youth movements were rising, and many uprisings, successful ones, failed ones, and so on. In Senegal, in Burkina Faso, in the Gambia, in Angola, in South Africa. And I was basically traveling for 2 years, training people in blogging, in mobilization, in civil resistance. Things that I was not trained in, but I learned by doing. And while traveling, I realized that as a Tunisian, I'm very disconnected from Africa. I don't know shit, and we have been for so long divided, North Africa from the south of the Sahara. But I realized that we have a lot of common struggles, basically unemployment, corruption, marginalization, exclusion. So it didn't make sense to me, why is that we're not united? And it even fascinated me more when I really embodied this Pan-African vision that in the 60s, when they were fighting for the liberation movement from colonial powers and the independence, they managed to organize across borders, and they didn't have even social media or internet or access to the technology we have today. So why is that we're not accelerating change and we were not continuing in that path? And that's how I started Africa Youth Movement. Basically started a Facebook group in 2012 and started adding the people I've been meeting during my travel in the hope that I could be a bridge between the struggles of North Africa and the rest of the continent. I didn't notice this has been going up. And then this Facebook group started to have a conversation around our collective identity as Africans. And today, after we launched in 2015, we are one of the largest youth movements in Africa, with 10,000 members from 40 countries. Youth hubs across African countries, tons of campaigns and advocacy influencing policy at the national level, influencing youth agenda at the global level, and so on. But I think the most important part of this is, in the NGO world, and I heard people were talking about funding, we remain non-registered and with no central bank account, because we are challenging the status quo. So how do you expect us to be registered under any government? And we kind of change the funding model as well. We organize forums and gatherings like this, but it's organized with no external funding, with zero external funding, only with members, mobilization, and community fundraising. So, what I'm trying to do with Africa Youth Movement is basically creating spaces for young people in Africa to belong to. Spaces that are Pan-African, that are non-violent, that are transnational, that are non-misogynist, that are empowering. Because the Africa I want is where youth are valued as drivers and leaders and not subjects of development. But also the Africa I want is where we value women and the contribution of women, because there is no revolution without women. And that's where I found the women in me. So let's talk a little bit about the women in me. I recently went to a cousin's engagement party. She's 22 years old, and I haven't seen extended family members in a while. So all I received was a Tunisian saying, "Al-aqba lik," which means, may you be next, may you be next to be engaged. And it's really sad that still in 2018, the ultimate success of a woman is to be married and to have kids. And when you choose not to follow that, you become something wrong with you, maybe, and you're only valued because you're gonna find the man and you're gonna get married and get kids, but not because you are happy. Everyone forgets the woman I am who didn't take a penny from her parents since she graduated, or who got a full competitive scholarship to study her master's in the UK, or who forged her own path and impacted thousands of people. That all doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're a woman, your household, and your husband is your stability, and it's what defined you. And when you hit your 30s, you are even expected to have kids as soon as possible, not because you want kids, but because you're expected to. And when I am in family gatherings where I am asked to help in the kitchen, and I hate cooking and I hate being in the kitchen, the next question that comes is, so when you get married, are you gonna starve your husband? But if he doesn't cook either, we're gonna starve together. But you should be worried about me, not about starving my husband. So there is so much expected from us. Go to school, graduate, get a job, be an engineer, be an entrepreneur, be a leader, be a teacher, and be a wife and be a mom. And I say, to hell all these expectations. To hell the entitlement to own me, my body, my choices, my life, and even my vagina to give birth or not. Women have to be what the hell they want to be. And when feminists are angry and making noise around the world about sexual harassment, and other people try to normalize it, I wonder, did they ask their mother or daughter or wife or girlfriend or classmate how many times they were harassed this week? How many times they were harassed this month? Do they actually ask them, when was the one time you felt abused or humiliated? You need to ask, because you never ask does not mean nothing happened. Every woman has a story, and all the women in my life had stories. And like many women, I struggled to be in public spaces. At 9 years old, I was cornered in a cemetery and abused. In school, going to university or school, touched in public transport, very common to many women. I once went to the Egyptian embassy to seek help and explanation because I was banned and blacklisted from Egypt, and I was interrogated for 12 hours and then deported. And I went, it was a normal procedure. I have to meet the ambassador and understand. And the ambassador who was supposed to help me and explain to me harassed me. The more I travel globally and go to spaces, especially the clubs of diplomats or the clubs of fancy entrepreneurs, to try to influence youth policies there, I am genuinely in a networking space trying to have a conversation and talk about my initiatives and give my opinion. And the diplomat or the businessman look at me and say, "Where are you staying? Let's finish this conversation later in my hotel tonight." I had a phobia for a long time from policemen. I had this one time where I was beaten terribly by a policeman in the revolution, in a protest, like many protesters around the world, even here in Europe, shamefully. And it was a terrifying and humiliating experience. And it took me so long time, it was only the last 2 years that I got my confidence back to walk across a policeman with a uniform, even a traffic police, without shaking and without having my heart to go out of my chest. And sadly, the people we seek support and help from and protection end up most likely being the ones who abuse us. So how many do we have to endure abuse? And how many do we have to bear? And how can I not be a feminist when every single day is a reminder of my gender? In the street, in the internet, on stage, everywhere. I thought at some point in my life that I am confident and empowered, and I can handle situations. But every time I come into a new situation, unexpectedly, I stand powerless. And it's when I liberated the women in me, that's when I found the women in me. For me, feminism, or being a feminist, is being an everyday activist. It's someone who speaks for yourself, but also someone who tries to change the reality of women around you, or women you don't know, that don't have the same privilege you have, whether it's education, language, access to things that you have access to. And liberating yourself as a woman means stop judging yourself. Stop judging the way you speak, the way what you wear, what you do. Is basically stop censoring yourself, stop oppressing yourself, and just be free. That's when you are truly free as a woman. So if I would summarize what a feminist is in one word, I would say badass. Just you being your own badass self every single day is challenging everyone else in society, and is challenging the system. How many badasses in the room we have? Yay, clap for yourselves, badass women. I did many initiatives related to women's rights, campaigns, blogging collectives, and so on, but today I'd like to share a new project that I started just 3 weeks ago, actually, called Radical Aya. And it's basically putting my full truth out there to the world and helping other people find their radical selves and supporting other badass women who are singing, skating, racing, bossing everyone around, being the boss of themselves, not giving a shit about judging them for curly hair or makeup free or no hair at all. So this adventure that I'm going into, and I hope many of you will join me in. So, this is who I am. I'm a rebel, I'm a woman, and I'm a Pan-African. And these are my 3 identities that liberated me. And my learning from this journey is that your identity is not your ID or your passport or the categorization that they put us in boxes of race and religion and gender and skin color and language. Actually, finding your identity means unlearning all of that and learning who you are. So don't ignore it, deny it, or repress it. Find it, recognize it, and liberate it, and be a badass change maker. Thank you. Thank you. I'm running away from the questions. Which topics about feminism do you think none has thought of about and still are really a problem? I think cultural oppression. We talk a lot about feminism at the policy level, gender pay gap, and things like that. But I think the everyday struggle of women with their own cultures is a problem. And I know that many of us would know what cultural oppression means in Africa: female genital mutilation, women can't drive, women can't do this and that. But there are many cultural oppressions here as well. And we might not see it, we might not recognize it, but they are there. And I think we don't talk about them as much. Should European and Western countries get involved and intervene politically, speaking in African countries? Absolutely. I think today, more than ever before, what we need is transnational solidarity. And because you have access to more democratic governments where you have a say, where you can lobby, where you can change policies, where you can advocate, where you can organize youth spaces, you have free movements within Europe. There's so much that you can do to support what's happening in Africa. And there is a big diaspora that I think should be really integrated and connected to what is in the youth space. So please support and stand in solidarity. Why feminism? Is not better to call it equality in all senses? Yeah, I think feminism, because feminism, for me, is bigger than gender equality. Feminism is about your identity, is about you standing and being your best self, your true self. Gender equality is really fighting for us all being equal, whether in jobs, in schools, whatever it is, in education. But feminism is the ability or the power to have your fluid identity, to express yourself. You want to have, sex today with a man, the next day you want to have with a woman. What the hell? Why would I be judged for that? I just want to be my true self. That's feminism for me. Gender equality is really about more or less policies and being treated equal in society. You talked a lot about women being feminists in your opinion, Kenga. Of course, how many feminist guys we have? Badass feminist guys in the room. Yes. I definitely think men should be feminists if they believe. But I think the only problem with that is that if you are a feminist or you believe in equality and you believe in your freedom to express your identity, then that's something you have to live every day. It's not about speaking up for gender equality. It means you treat your wife right, you treat your girlfriend right, you treat your colleague right. It means you practice it every single day. So for men out there, just be a feminist every single day, just like women trying to resist every single day. Thank you.
I almost cried. Like, I'm gonna say something like a bit more serious now. I'm sorry, sorry, but I'm really proud. I feel really proud. I'm gonna do it quickly because I know you're hungry. I'm hungry too, and the next guest is just amazing, and we're blessed to have someone like him. But I really am proud because I think we live in a moment where we are fighting so hard for women that have fight before. Older generations, our generation, future generations, women all around the world, women who empower themselves, empower other women, just make them feel better. It's not the matter, we have so many years been taught to fight against each other instead of together, and it's the first time in our lives we're fighting together, hand by hand, to get a better quality of life, get better jobs, be respected, be safe, feel safe, and be treated as equals, because that's exactly what we are, equals. Not different, not better, not worse, equals. And thank you, Aya, so much, because you are a young lady who really believes in this. So many ladies believed in this. See, in March we had that amazing revolution, so many women feeling themselves, if you're not a mom, you're not gonna be completed. What the fuck? I don't wanna be a mom and I'm still a woman. I wanna be an engineer. Amazing. I wanna work in this, in that, in whatever. You can do whatever you want. I wanna be a mom. I wanna stay at home. I wanna go work. You can do anything. Just thank you so much. I'm so blessed because I live in a world. I'm seeing this change. I'm part of this change. And I'm able to see amazing women just like Aya fight for women like me, for women like you, women like my younger sister and my mom. So thank you, and thank you again. So, once this said, sorry, I really had to say it because I was like, whoo, because it's really hard, you know, even with the policemen that are like the persons with you have to feel more safe with, even with that, it's just really, being a woman is just so tough, and sometimes it's bullshit, but you know, it's not that, it's not true. Being a woman is the best thing you can be. So, I know you're hungry, I'm really hungry, it's just one more thing you have to see. It's the best appetizer you're gonna have. Really, you're gonna be blessed for what you're gonna see now. His name is Cesar Brandon. He is the Got Talent winner. So really, please, you're gonna be blessed by this. Welcome him with a really huge applause.
So here I am, here I stand, like a poem that repeats itself once upon a time again. No offense, but I cannot feel my hands so tired of writing poems that many people don't even understand, and my brain is constantly in the edge, drawing internal borders. And my body is in so much pain that I can feel my colors. And I'll become a little bit gray, but not like Christian, because otherwise my book will be titled 50 Shades of Hey, You're Not That Good in Bed. Hello everyone, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet. No, sorry. Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Cesar Brandon. I'm 25 years old, I'm from Equatorial Guinea. And there are two ways which I can describe myself. The first one is by saying that I'm a spoken word artist, a poet, a published author, a social educator, passionate lover, Decepticon, lover of Hufflepuff, and what else? Yeah, official hater of Frodo from the Lord of the Rings, and a lot of other hashtags. And the other way is by saying that I'm just a simple storyteller. So for those of you who don't know me, first of all, excuse my English if I switch accents, because I've learned it by watching TV, and maybe I can become like a person from England, or an Indian, or someone from Nigeria, so excuse that first. Hey, ¿qué tal? So first of all, excuse that. For those of you who doesn't know my story, I come from a small country, as I say, called Equatorial Guinea, and I participate in a talent show, Spain Got Talent, by doing poetry or spoken word. I said it's poetry because I do it in Spanish, but normally in English it's spoken word. And I didn't expect what happened, but I won the contest, and now I'm here trying to share what I do with you, and I hope I inspire some of you, and the time we spend here serve for something. So, poetry, what do I do? What I try to bring to the table in terms of poetry is like trying to mix a lot of pop culture and metaphors into what's the traditional poetry. And here is a small example that I think is going to be great after the speech we just had. This is like 5 verses. What do I know about giants, Newton? What do I know about giants is as far as I come to see is by wearing my mother's high heels. Thank you. That was a small one. I wanted to share it for the speech we just had about women and how our mothers inspired us. Poetry is inspired by happiness. That's not true. If there is something that's basically true about people who make poetry, spoken word, is that we like to be sad. It's a sad thing to think about because we stay longer in the state of sadness so that we can get inspired. I'm going to give you an example of how we search for things that are sad. A couple of months ago, please guys, don't do this. Don't do this at home. I asked my girlfriend to make a list of like a top 10 of like the best guys she has sex with. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. And she placed me 3rd. That's not a good number. Sorry. I don't know why I did that. So at first she was like, now what are you going to do with that? So I became like hysterical about that. Now I'm always thinking about the 2 persons that come before me, and I'm so sad, and that's why I want to share with you the poem that inspired being sad about not being so good in bed. I cried the first time you kissed me, because even though I can't see the future, I can feel it. And I know you will be wearing the same lipstick and you will be sounding the same voice. You will be reading the same lyrics and talking the same words when you will say to me, you're not that good in bed anymore. I cried the first time you kissed me because you didn't understand what it was like to kiss a person for the first time. You were so used to kissing people, you didn't understand I wasn't just another guy. I wanted to be a 0, and you treat me like another one. I wanted to be a hero. I wanted to save your lips and your kisses from the threat of not being admired or getting used for please other sexual desires. I don't know, I just wanted to be a little bit chaos in your life, an earthquake. You're Michael Jackson. I wanted to kiss you like, Annie, are you okay? I don't know, I just wanted to be your mirror, the opposite reflection of us being in the same direction. Your lips going left, my lips going right, our sleeves staying straight, our tongue speaking French. I've got the B1, but I still fail. I cried the first time you kissed me, but now I'm with another girl, and that girl is you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to try to share another poem with you. Usually what I do is I write in Spanish, so I got a few poems, spoken word poems, written in English. Now that I have the opportunity, I'm going to talk a little bit about my story and try to inspire you. So before participating in this talent show, I was studying social education, and I tried to publish what I was writing. So I started writing on social media, on my Instagram, for like 4 or 5 years to like expose myself and see what would happen. And basically no one, like, I didn't have like followers to be able to have background of people who are going to support if I publish the book. So what happened is in 2016, I went back to Equatorial Guinea, to my country, because I didn't have enough money to live here and stay here and live. And my big brother is a motivational speaker, and he helped me to know what I was capable of. So when I came back, I published my book. I auto-published myself. I had to do the draft, wrote the book, of course, the marketing, everything. And that's the most thing I'm proud of myself today, that this book, I don't know if some of you know about it, my first published book that is selling good, I think so, I don't know. They're not giving me any money. Was published by me. I auto-published it myself a year before. That's one of the things I'm more proud of. And now I'm going to try to share with you a poem that was inspired by my country and the political situation that we're having there and my childhood. In Guinea, we have been raised in the dark. And I recall many nights where the city lights went off and the lights turned on. Because when we were young, we respected our elders, and laws, and if you wanted to kiss a girl, you must have the ability to merge with the darkness and become one. Push hard to a wall and get the slightly taste of her tongue. To tongue, tongue, tongue. Said I like the way you move that. Sorry. We used to like that song a lot. In Guinea, we have been raised in the dark, and all of our peoples are stars, and Bata and Malabo have shown us how to shine like the sun, and it's also against Lucas Graham, because even though we didn't have perfect dad, we still want to be the perfect sons. For our moms, our aunts, our friends that are gone, fuck the guns and the drugs and the fundamentalism of God held to fund, we are nadis of love. There are children coexisting in our bodies of adults. We are who we are, and we are what we articulate inside with our arts, and we fight because we love you. You are our war, and we die because we love you. And if you don't raise the flag of change, we will make Guinea stay the same. Thank you. A small question. How many of you know who I am? Like, bien. Okay, so I don't know if you want me to share a poem in Spanish with you. Of course, yeah. I know what you want to hear. If you allowed me, I would like to share with you the poem that's called Miedos a la Izquierda, which you will know like El Cero, I think. That's not the title of the poem, but I would like to share it with you. And many people ask me how the poem was borrowed. Like, how are you able to do poetry with numbers? You're not a mathematician or something like that. And the thing is that when I want to tell a story, the story comes first and then the elements. You know, I don't think about the element first and then the story. It's first the story, then the elements. So this is the story about me, my ex-girlfriend, and my new girlfriend, with numbers, in Spanish. Uno no quería contar con nadie. Y uno no entendía por qué era impar si antes de él había alguien. Uno no quería contar con nadie y uno sentía que después de él estaba el infinito y a uno el sempiterno le daba miedo, así que uno, muerto de pavor, se fijó en cero. Y cuando uno vio a cero pensó que cero era el número más bonito que había visto y que aun viniendo antes que él era entero. Uno pensó que en cero había encontrado el amor verdadero, que en cero había encontrado a su par, así que decidió ser sincero con cero y decirle que aunque era un cero a la izquierda, sería el cero que le daría valor y sentido a su vida. Ese de ser el primero ya no le iba, así que le dio a cero una gran bienvenida. Juntos eran pura alegría y se completaban. Uno tenía cero tolerancia al alcohol, pero con cero se podía tomar una cerveza cero por su aniversario, aunque para eso tuviesen que inventarse fecha cero en el calendario. Cero era algo cerrado y le costaba representar textos, pero junto a uno hacían el perfecto código binario, eran los dígitos del barrio y procesaban el amor a diario. Pero uno no sabe lo que tiene hasta que lo pierde. Así que uno perdió a cero. Y para cuando uno se dio cuenta, cero ya contaba de la mano con menos uno, que a pesar de ser algo negativo, le trataba como una reina. A cero le gustaba que menos uno fuera original. Tener un hueco y menos uno un guión con el que podían jugar. A cero le gustaba que menos uno no fuese uno más, que menos uno no fuese ordinal, que fuese justamente competitivo y que cuando jugasen al uno, menos uno no le dejase ganar. Cero sentía que a diferencia de uno, menos uno sí le trataba como un número de verdad. Y menos uno no ponía peros, ni pretendía darle valor a cero poniendo comas entre ellos. Menos uno no tenía complejos y cuando hacían el amor a menos uno le encantaba estar bajo cero. Y uno, una vez más, volvió a quedarse solo, separado como una unidad. Sin cero su vida se consumía como una vela, sin cero el tiempo en él hacía mella. Se dio cuenta de que acostumbrarse era otra forma de morir, que él se había acostumbrado a vivir con cero, así que le pidió disculpas a la vida por todas las veces en las que se había acostumbrado a ellas. Y uno empezó a contar, pero sin cero. Se olvidó de los besos de cero, de los celos de cero, del sexo con cero y hasta de los te quiero de cero. Y uno empezó a contar, pero sin cero. Uno se olvidó de cero y le dijo adiós. Uno se olvidó de cero y tal vez hasta del amor y empezó a contar hacia lo que más miedo le daba. Hasta el infinito. O tal vez solo hasta dos. Thank you. I know I have to leave now, but I have the chance, so I want to share this with you. Y así también acabo en inglés y queda guay. Detesto esa foto. I want to share a message with you because after being in television, and I went to the television to expose what I was doing, not to be exposed. And the other outcome of participating in a talent show is that after you are exposed. And I want to share a small message with you, like I'm not a philosopher or nothing like that, but it maybe sound like a cliche, but it's the truth. Stay true to yourself, always, no matter what they're going to say, because they are going to talk about you, and things that you don't like is going to be there always. But stay true to yourself and exist. Thank you.
ya os podéis ir a comer, vaya, que es que he subido las escaleras para nada, macho. Go eat, ala, venga, todo fuera. La próxima vez esperaros. Next time you wait. I'm going up the stairs for you. It's not easy. Go, go, go. Zero respect.